Have you seen the full trailer for Mission Impossible?
We don't have to talk about Mission Impossible again.
Well, yeah, I guess we saw that teaser was like a lot of the main trailer, but
I think we talked about it a lot on the last one.
yeah,
Though.
so I'll get rid of that.
Jeremy, come on.
This is cool. I had these toys when I was a kid. They're awesome.
Okay, I guess it is. I was
All
never
these ships. I had this huge mountain thing that they hid in, like the pool like open side like apart, and the ship came out. Like, it was sweet. They made a live action movie like I don't know 10 years ago, and now they're making a animated movie.
Yeah, I remember the live action one. And
it wasn't great.
Yeah, nobody cared.
But do you remember like where they came from? Like the '60s. It was like a.
I know of it, but I never really got into it or witnessed it or whatever.
Seriously though, watch the Bond trailer. Put that up for him there, Jeremy.
It was one of those there. Yes. Spectre.
Have you seen the trailer for Mad Max?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same trailer as every other trailer.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I'm kind of excited for Mad Max.
No, I am. I'm just saying.
It looks pretty sweet.
The trailers are just non-stop action.
Yeah. Well, the first one was a teaser, and then this one was like literally the craziest thing I've ever.
I know,
but
it's just so many.
We already had a crazy one where we exploded on Twitter and everything. This one was crazy, but it didn't have the same effect because we already had a crazy one. You know what I mean?
You've got a secret. Something you can't tell anyone.
Oh, he's got a brother.
Trust anyone.
Why wouldn't that be his dad?
What?
Why do you think that's his brother?
Well, I think his dad is there with him, and then the brother's the one that's burned out.
Oh.
You death wear a familiar face.
006.
Not you.
That's not 006.
Can you imagine?
They got Sean Bean too.
Was there a meeting recently and your name came?
A new estimate.
That with London was still talking about me. It wasn't MI6. You're a kite dancing in a hurricane, Mr. Bond.
Looks like he's a kite.
Welcome, James. It's been a long time. Finally, here we are.
It's called Spectre because it's like a ghost from his past.
No, we'll talk about it. Spectre is the name of like that.
Yeah,
like,
holy shit! You watch this trailer.
It's like a Sundance movie.
This is Last of Us the movie.
Yeah.
Maggie.
Oh yeah. Oh right. That's the reason I had.
Like, is he gonna win an award?
It looks really good. People loved it.
Schwarzenegger. I'll put that in there.
Like Predator.
Dad, you've protected me all my life. Now it's my turn to protect you. There is life with
Did
you.
you turn it off?
Yeah. Arnold.
Don't come looking for me. I'm safe. I'm fine.
Mr. Bowman, I would normally release someone with this type of infection. I need you to follow.
Trevor doesn't speak in the trailer, so that's not a good sign. I mean, he looks badass with a beard.
Should probably show
End
more
of
signs
days.
of aggression and hunger. When that happens, say your goodbyes and get her straight to quarantine. I made a promise to your mother that I will protect you.
Promised your mother.
Nice song.
Quarantine rules apply to everybody, Wade.
So she's like alive but infected.
I guess she's.
Oh, watch the watch the teaser for
Everybody?
what? True Detective season 2.
We did.
Okay, good.
Jesus.
What? Tell someone being very loud.
What are you watching? What are you?
It's advertising.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everywhere you go, you're leaving puzzle pieces. For anyone who's looking. That's how you stayed under the radar.
This is true. This is a real True Detective.
Eugene Van Winger, the barber. It's not your real name, though, is it, Mr. Wilson? You're mistaken. I'm telling you, brother. Are you say anything? He spouted some story. That punky's got a real smart mouth. He's a serial killer named Francis Allen Visser.
Mr. Visser is a fine outstanding citizen.
I know, they had to keep good lack of evidence, no witnesses, no fingerprints, nothing. 17 bucks, it's a lot to walk away from.
They cut him loose for a reason. They had no motives, no prints, no DNA. What are you gonna get from him? A candlestick in the library?
I'm gonna learn anything about who I am, what I am. It's no need from you. What do you want from me? I want you to teach me how to kill.
This is true.
Is awful person. I want to know how you picked them.
Excuse me?
What's the trigger? What's the thing?
Hey, mister.
This one, not that one. You sure they're sick, though. Can't be too careful. I've got to give it. I'm gonna give it to you. I got to this close to tell me everything.
He's playing a part. Just
Yo, ran into your boy last night. Man, look, he's not who he says he is.
Shit.
No forgiveness.
Of course, they have that one clip or whatever.
What was that?
It's a movie, it's like a horror movie called The Barber.
A horror or a thriller?
Yeah, I guess a thriller, same thing.
No, it's no. 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 No.
You watch this on Netflix, Bloodline?
I've seen it around. I haven't. What's it about?
I don't know.
Then why do you tell me to watch it?
Because the reviews are like really good. Like it's like the writing's really good. Anything like it's Netflix original too, right? So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Super S64 the Wii U. Perfect.
Want to beat that for you?
Shut up.
Hasn't
Say
Super
no.
Mario 64 been available forever on
No.
the virtual
On
console?
On the regular Wii.
Wait, so there's a different virtual console for the Wii U and the Wii?
Yeah.
What? Ugh.
But if you have anything bought on the Wii, you get it like for $1 on the Wii U.
That's
And
that.
you're paying that. You pay that because they let you do new things with it.
I guess.
So I can play it on the gamepad in my room now, like in my bed.
I guess that's worth it. I mean, it's just $1, but it depends on how many games you have.
What's that?
It's just $1, but I guess it depends on how many games you have or how much it becomes.
I like buy everything on the Wii U because like I like playing on the gamepad, like in my bed. Like Super Metroid, I can play in my bed on the gamepad, like things like that.
I almost never play my Vita.
Well, you're not on vacation; you're just working all the time, right? So
yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready to go?
It's early.
I know, but I don't want to miss too much of this hockey game.
It's like you're gonna miss a lot.
Well, depends. I just hope it's not over by the time we start. You know, by the time we're in, because like, it's win and you're in, essentially. So that's exciting, I guess. I don't know. You guys, Jim, I thought you were a big Jets fan.
I am.
Okay, well, fine.
We have to do this stupid podcast because you were called into work.
Why do you say it like that? I do have to
You
work
heard
all the
rumblings.
time. I heard rumblings, and then I had to go into work. They're like, it's gonna be. Someone at work texted me.
Don't listen to the rumbling.
Well, no, what happened was the girls at work were like, we're getting all these resos for tonight. They were gonna need other people, and I was like, well, can you just tell them I can't do it? They're like, well, we already told them that you had no plans. I was like, no. It wasn't a big deal, but you guys watched. When did you guys go to watch the game?
We ended up at Smitty's Fort Richmond.
Smitty's Fort Richmond. I don't think I've ever been there.
It's huge.
Where?
That's Smitty's.
Oh, yeah.
Where is that exactly? Fort.
It's on Pembina at like just south of Dalhousie.
Oh, like right by like the
Perfect.
Tim Hortons and stuff there. In that parking lot. Across from.
No, that's Pembina Grand.
Oh.
It's like coming on the perimeter.
Oh. Why are you guys all the way up there?
Because what's his name lives in San Adolphe.
Yeah, some of the people we were meeting were from St. Adolphe.
Oh. I don't know what's his name is, but okay.
Vince. Did you ever meet Vince?
Vince McMahon.
He would
Oh, whatever.
maybe he came to Boston Pizza Club a couple times.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
like in past, but like didn't meet him.
from your. That's not. You don't have to. That's.
Yeah, he's Adams and Rochelle's friend.
He's in Adam's faculty at school.
Oh, yeah, I probably have met him, but
Did you guys vote for any Smash Bros. Characters?
No.
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 You can submit votes.
Oh, hey, wait.
Yeah, they're gonna like tally votes and like who's ever popular, they're gonna make that character for the game.
Just anybody.
And they said they didn't rule out like it could be basically anyone. Not to agree with it, obviously. Like they don't want Ridley because it's too big, but like Tails.
I don't know. That's such a garbage argument though, because like, why is Ridley too big but Bowser's not?
Because Bowser and Mario is not a realistic world. I've said this before. Bowser in Mario Party 10 is massive. He changes size all the time.
Yeah.
Ridley and Samus, they're always the same.
Okay.
And it could be an excuse, but we have Ridley in the game, and look how big he is. They don't want to scale him down. It's untrue to the character.
Yeah. Also, how do you have playable Ridley in a level where Ridley is non-playable? You know that's weird. It's too late for him.
I feel like we need another Mario character.
Being joking.
Yeah.
No, we need Waluigi.
Or Toad.
We don't need Waluigi. Right?
I'm sure people want
When I
Toad.
say need, I'm thinking of a game where I want like all the essential characters. The game to end all games.
I don't want that game. If it's gonna end all other games,
like Smash Bros. To end all Smash Bros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just beat this guy already.
It's so laggy. I haven't played like one time maybe.
Didn't when's MKX come out? Did it come out already?
Tuesday.
Witcher's soon too, isn't it?
Witcher's in May.
Soon.
Well, he's not right-handed. Water deflected like more damage onto me.
We're Lord and Miller for the Flash.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They did the Lego Movie. They did 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Oh, okay.
They're being looked at for Ghostbusters. They're like pretty much wanted for everything right now.
Huh.
The new hot directors.
She okay up there? Okay, get out of there. We're gonna start this thing.
Yep.
Start. I'm good to go.
No, is he still playing?
No.
Listen, I can hear you still playing.
Need a silencer for that controller.
It's fine. Ambience.
Hate Game & Watch.
This would be fun.
Well, you're gonna hate Lucas then.
Why?
Apparently, he's like really like overpowered. At least from what he was in Brawl.
Game & Watch isn't really overpowered. He's just. I mean, they're all. It's fairly balanced. They're all just. He's weird. Like.
Doesn't have a lot of tells, hey? Like, it just, like, his moves just happen.
And it's not just comes out, and they all look the same when they start.
I don't even remember like how he plays, so that's why I would say he has no tells.
Those weird, like, bacons and things that he throws out of his frying pan, they're annoying. A lot of guys, if they knock you off the map, they'll just sit at the edge
His
and
down
throw
A move
those.
is really good.
And it doesn't kill you.
Key move?
Yeah, it is.
Everyone does that.
Meteor
Smash. Is that the official term now? That it's like it's called the Meteor?
That's what it was at the beginning, too. That's what it always was.
I feel like Jeremy called it something else though for a long time.
We always called it the Smackdown, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
No, it's called Meteor Smash.
Yeah, I know, but
I always said Smackdown. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Wavebird, even though it's never been referred to as that in any
There's so many
official
terms you guys
capacity.
have no idea about. Every air move, like down air is called dare, front air is called fair, back air is called bear. Like that's how they talk in those.
It's
like the Smash world.
Huh.
Like that figure. Like they'll say like. It's weird. And then nair is neutral air, so up and just A.
Oh.
Yeah, the old.
They have all these same things. It's so cool.
I always forget about neutral air. You know.
That's a good one.
It's probably one of the best moves.
It negates everything.
Yeah, because it's like you have like they call it hitboxes. So if you press that, anything around you will basically get hit by it.
I've never really got into like the technical side of Smash Brothers, but the more I like people talk about like the updates and new balancing.
They call it tech skill.
Jeremy's now an expert at all things Super Smash Brothers. So wait, we'll start as soon as Jeremy's done this match.
Could have been done a long time ago.
Shut up. I'm just practicing a certain combination.
This guy's not really knowing.
Nikolai
Like
Castor-Waldo joins Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show.
Hey.
All right, pressing the old intro play button. So don't say anything until until I start to say something. Hey everybody, welcome to the Tower Babble Podcast, episode 53. I'm your host, Julian Mush. I'm joined, as always, by Daniel D'Souza.
Yo.
Jeremy Kozier.
Hey.
Really excited, a lot to talk about stuff today. Lots of stuff to talk about. Not a lot of time to do it in. We're going to talk about James Bond. We're going to talk about Maggie, Mad Max, DC, Marvel stuff as always. A little bit of gaming news. Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct, so there's obviously a lot to talk about there. Always stuff to deal with TV. Netflix and HBO seem to be taking over all the news these days, and a little bit of comic stuff. Finish with what we've been watching, reading or playing, and then we're off to watch a Jets game. So let's start with there's a bunch of trailers dropped in the last 2 weeks, so we'll talk about those. The one that's closest to my heart is the James Bond trailer for it's called Spectre. Excited about that. The guys just got a chance to watch it. I think it's one of the best looking, like visually best looking trailers I've seen for a James Bond film in a long time. It just looks like cinematically gorgeous. That lake shot where he's going out on the lake on that boat particularly stands out. You guys aren't the biggest James Bond fans. What did you guys think?
Not as much as you, but
No, I'm a huge James Bond fan too, but not as much as you.
I don't know. All the latest James Bond movies seem to have that effect. They look like the production value must be huge.
They're just very well done nowadays. And
It just looks so crisp and everything looks like fancy and sweet.
Okay, fancy and sweet.
Everything is just taken more seriously. You know what I mean? Like ever since like Batman Begins, Dark
Yeah.
Knight kind of thing, everyone's like, "Okay, let's take our subject matter very seriously and make it very artsy, right?" So,
Meanwhile, you have Marvel going the other way.
well,
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
it's the same thing, but they make it for kids, basically,
Yeah.
or younger audience. But I like how there's also the story continuation. Like that
that
was
never happened in
that
the
was
old
like
ones.
I don't think you can go back the other way. You know what I mean? Like
Well-
especially if only until like the Bond changes actors, then maybe do a new story thing.
Yeah.
But when it's the same dude, like the continuation is cool.
Yeah.
Well, and
I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Skyfall, but whatever happens, happens.
Really? I thought Skyfall was the best Bond since Casino Royale. I mean, not that was tough because Quantum of Solace was not very good, but
It was an hour and 15 minutes. Or whatever.
was it that short?
Yeah, I was saying a really short.
I feel like Skyfall was like 6 hours long.
Yeah, Skyfall was it was like 2:30 at least.
I love what they've been doing with the villains. I mean, James Bond has always been known almost more for its villains than it has for the actual actor playing Bond, but they've got Christoph Waltz, I guess he made his big splash with Inglourious Bastards. I guess would be his biggest one that he became most well known for, and yeah, he's this role as a Bond villain is like made for him.
Yeah, it's perfect.
They keep talking about how so Spectre in the previous Bond films was an evil organization. I'm at like kind of like like the opposite of what the MI5 was doing, and it kind of like what Mission Impossible was doing with the opposite of the Impossible Mission IMF, right? So there's this evil force that's somehow controlling the world, or has got some nefarious plan, right? But the new Bond movies never had the rights to use it. There was some sort of weird legal thing, but that's been all sorted out now. And in the other movies, Blofeld, which is probably the most well-known Bond villain, the guy who had the white cat with the diamond necklace. Yeah. Anyway, so everyone is speculating that Christoph Waltz is actually playing Blofeld. He told in an interview to GQ that the name of his character is Franz Oberhauser, and he's not playing Blofeld. My question is, do you think it's are we being Star Trek like what they did with?
That's it. It's con.
Yeah, is that happening again, or are they just going a different way? I think it's almost a wasted opportunity to have Waltz and then not have him in such a massive villain role that could recur.
Because he's such a typical Bond villain. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like old school typical Bond villain with that voice and stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh.
And now that they have the Spectre thing left, like I don't know. Also, Franz Oberhauser is not a very intimidating. Not that Blofeld is either, but cool, intimidating name.
Franz Oberhauser. So I mean, it just sounds like another just generic villain name, right? But Blofeld is has that.
It sounds like an
name
extra
recognition
from Die.
True. Anyway, one more thing. I mean, other than this is separate from the trailer, but it has to do with Bond. Is that in an interview, Barbara Broccoli, who's one of the producers of James Bond, the films for the last long time, she and the other producer mentioned that were asked about what they thought about Idris Elba being James Bond. People have been pushing for him to be maybe the next Bond. And their answer was just, yeah, no, we haven't really started looking for the next one, but we think that he'd make a great Bond, which is, I guess, kind of vindication for all those people that have been trying to say, you know, hey, he should get a shot at playing him. But he's likely, by the time the current Bond is done, he'll probably be too old anyway. So, yeah, Daniel Craig, exactly. And then what else do we have for trailers? Maggie. So this is like, is it a Sundance movie, Jeremy?
I get the Tribeca Film Festival.
Oh, Tribeca. Okay. Well, give us the rundown of what this movie is, or why we should be excited about it.
Okay. I don't know. It's basically, it looks like Last of Us the movie, but it's
with a bigger twist with her being
somewhat
being affected by the infection. Like
she's not just infected but also affected.
Yeah. But in a weird way, because when you're infected and it happens, it's like you're dead.
Yeah.
This one, it's like it
seems like
transforms.
she's semi-conscious.
Yeah.
And she like goes back and forth. Okay, we were getting ahead of ourselves. So it's Arnold Schwarzenegger is back in making good movies. And, well, we'll see what happens. But he's back in making movies.
He has 3 words in the trailer.
So I guess it's like a zombie apocalypse type deal, and his daughter's infected, but like we were just saying, not always affected by it.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to protect her and stuff, and that's all they're and he's got a sweet beard.
And so this is a trailer for a movie that's going to be premiering at Tribeca, right? Is that
No.
And then or has
No,
already?
I think it just garnered praise and awards or something from that.
Okay, so is it going to be getting a theatrical release? Do we know?
Probably, I'd assume so.
Okay, well that's exciting. I mean, if it's half as good as Last of Us, then then we'll be just fine. Then we have a trailer for Mad Max Fury Road. The full trailer this time looks absolutely out of this world bonkers. It just looks absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's just non-stop action. They're just constantly driving in the desert.
Yeah.
And, like, pitching these ladders and shit like pirates or something.
And people are getting fucked up. Like there's all these cars flipping over, explosions all over the place.
And it's like, how do they film this with like being safe? Like, is it just special effects? Like, it all looks pretty practical. Like, a lot of it looks practical.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the old Mad Max movies with is it Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah, it is.
Mel Gibson.
I was never a huge fan.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
like
it.
these ones at first, like it just seems like boring. Like the whole desert thing, it all looks bland to me. But then this trailer was just nuts.
Yeah. It looks like a very simple plot, right? But does it really need to be super complicated, right? It looks like essentially. Yeah, I was going to mention that Tom Hardy, who's the star, is committed to another 3 movies in the franchise. So, I guess,
which is just weird when you say it's a simple plot, but it's going to be there's more sequels.
Yeah, but every movie has a sequel now. I mean,
I know, but they have with the simplicity of this plot. There's 3 more that they know to continue.
I mean, it literally. I don't know. Obviously, it's just a trailer, but this is what I've kind of garnered from that. There's these girls that are locked up by these like crazy mutant people, and I guess maybe one of them has some sort of significance to our main character. Who is it? Mad Max? Is he playing Max? Right?
Yes.
I guess. Okay. So he has maybe one of these girls has significance to Max. He has to go and rescue her, and then it's a series. It's like a rescue mission and escape. That's kind of what it seems like the movie is.
I'm sure that's not far off.
But either way, it looks. It just looks so cool. Like you don't see movies like this very much anymore. So I'm excited to just see how it turns out more than
I
anything.
hope they remake Waterworld next.
No.
No, you don't.
I'm excited for the trailers that are going to play before this movie.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to you, Jeremy. I was just going to get to that. So, Batman versus Superman. Obviously, that's, I think, I'll speak for all of us here. Is my most number one, and I think yours as well, anticipated movie in like the block of movies you know that's coming. Yeah, just thing of all time.
Pretty much.
Except for teleportation. That when we get to that technology, that's I'm more anticipating that.
Gotcha.
But Batman vs Superman, first trailer we're gonna get. It's gonna premiere in front of Mad Max. It'll probably be online the same day, right?
Yeah, even before. So it's weird when they say premiere for this movie. It's not like you got to go to the theater. To
No,
actually
but
see
that's
it.
the way you can see it theatrically, so you can see it on the big screen.
Yeah, I almost think we should just like go to the movie without even looking at the internet or anything. You know what I mean?
Jeremy,
Just to see it for the first time on a big screen.
So would you say to pull a what movie did we go see to see the Transformers trailer?
Shrek 3.
Shrek 3. Pull a Shrek 3. We didn't even watch the whole movie. That's different. We left the theater after. We should have got our money back.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would be pretty sweet. I just think that it's like it might be out the day before. Like that trailer might be premiering the day before. Are you going to be able to have the self-control to not watch it? To wait until like
me and Daniel like agree? Yeah.
All right. Well,
I can do it. I'll tell you right now. I'll do it.
Okay. We can get other people with us to the Mad Max too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm gonna watch it on my computer, and I'm just gonna start texting you guys things like just that are out of context, maybe Speaking of other trailers that are premiering before other things, we're getting word that Star Wars is gonna get another trailer at Celebrations, Star Wars Celebrations in Anaheim, which I think is next week, but the trailer will theatrically premiere in front of Avengers 2, obviously both being Disney. And some details have been kind of leaked. We're not sure if these are true, but the same guys who leaked the details of the last one turned out to be true. So a couple things that stand out. Han, Leia, R2, 3PO, they're all going to be seen. There's a blue lightsaber this time somewhere. That Chrome Stormtrooper is going to show up. Millennium Falcon's back. But we're not going to see any Circus. We're not going to see any Luke Skywalker. And I mean, I'm kind of looking over this. I'm not seeing a lot of other stuff on here. Like literally, some of these bullet points are the most simple thing. X-wing fighters flying in a V-shaped formation. Like that doesn't really. That's not exciting unless you see it.
You don't need to hype that up. Like we'll see that. You don't need to tell us ahead of time it's going to happen.
So anyway, it looks like it's going to be a lot meatier than the last one. A lot more stuff. Maybe get a better idea of what the story is going to be like.
Is it weird that we've only had like basically one teaser when the movie's out
this year?
This year, but that's awesome. I think that's sweet. Like this trailer's gonna change everything.
I don't know if that's fair to say.
Yeah, man, it is.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
This is the first real glimpse of what
like a
Star
full
Wars
theatrical
is going
trailer
to be like again.
They keep calling it a teaser again, but I mean, like, is this the first trailer?
This will be the trailer for sure.
Okay.
It's in front of Avengers. It'll be a 2-minute like.
Said it's
bunch of
under
shit.
2 minutes.
Okay, whatever. Like just
Probably just under 2 minutes. Yeah.
So I guess it's still technically a teaser, just an extended teaser, if you want to get like technical about it.
Yeah.
Either way, like you're right, Jeremy. It'll define what the new generation of Star Wars is really.
Yeah. Like this is my second most anticipated thing. Is that trailer?
I like that it's not even differentiated between shows and movies, and it's just things.
It's just things. It's like my sister's pregnant, but I'm really looking forward to this movie.
Well, unless he becomes pregnant, that's a whole different can of worms. Just staying on the Star Wars tip for a second, Star Wars released an infographic that explains what the new canon is and where each book that they're releasing is going to fall into the timeline, essentially. The things that stand out, I mean, I'm not going to tell you where each book stands and where each book fits. The things that stand out to me are there is nothing set before Episode 1. So, as far as you know, Old Republic stuff is still non-canon. And that the Battlefront video game that's being done by DICE is in between the third and fourth movies, between A New Hope and Empire. So makes me think that there's probably some sort of story, like campaign mission, kind of like what they've been doing with the new Battlefield games. That'll actually be canon with the Star Wars films as well. Which is pretty cool. I mean, the game we're excited about is really the big scale, like Star Wars battles, flying X-wings and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that there's could be a playable mission campaign that is canon, that's also pretty exciting.
Of course.
Um,
Story related with that universe it's already going to be cool.
Yeah. I mean, the books that they keep talking about and the comic books and all that stuff, every time someone mentions, well, this book is about... there's a book that they talked about. It's a book about Vader and Sidious being trapped on some planet that had some sort of that was having some sort of revolution, and they were going to take care of it, right? In some insurgency. And then they get trapped there, and it's literally just about those two of them together, and that's the whole book. Which you never see that relationship ever really in the movies, right? You see them together maybe... I feel like to get the scenes together, Vader and Sidious are maybe 20 minutes total, time.
Yeah, close to it.
So, I mean, that exploring that dynamic is, that's interesting. Every time I'm like, oh, well, I'd love to read that, but, yeah, there's not enough hours in the day for you to read all the new Star Wars material that's coming out. Sticking on, we'll continue with the movie stuff for now. Being in the movie section, I started with trailers, but anyway. Olivia Wilde is reportedly returning for Tron 3. We mentioned when Tron 3 was announced that nothing had been mentioned about her, and we thought it would be kind of weird that she wouldn't be back considering how the Tron legacy ended. The movie's set to film in Vancouver this fall. 22 Jump Street. So I was a huge fan of 22 Jump Street. You guys were...
I don't really care.
Nah.
First one was good. I don't like the second one.
I thought they were both hilarious. So there is a sequel to 22 Jump Street that is in the works, according to the guys at Sony. And the best part of this whole news is it's great. They made fun of the whole fact that it's called 22 Jump Street, right? And they played on that joke a lot, and I thought it was genius, right? End credits were full of 23 Jump Street, 24 Jump Street, all these different sequels, right? And them in space or them in underwater or all these different versions of it, right? So the best part of the sequel idea is that the sequel is going to take into account all of those fake sequels and incorporate them into canon, they actually happened, and then go from there. Which is, I think, hilarious. It's a great idea. I mean, that's a smart idea.
Funny, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it's very early on, but I'm done. Sold. So this one actually is a pretty big deal. And it's going to take a second for you to... It's going to be weird considering all the Marvel movies we've seen up till this date. According to Joss Whedon, he couldn't think of something that felt natural and as great as the shawarma scene... post-credit scene at the end of Avengers, of the first Avengers film. So there won't be a post-credit scene in Avengers 2. Feige and Whedon have confirmed that. And by post-credit scene... Sorry? So there's no, post-credit scene. So remember in the end of Avengers, they do that, really awesome credit sequence where they show all the different, every character's weapons and stuff, kind of, stylized. Yeah, and then they do the Thanos thing between the stylized credits and just the scrolling text, right? Yeah. So there will be a stinger between the stylized credits and the scrolling text, halfway through the credits, last time. So that's still going to be there, but there's no post credit scene, if you know what I mean.
That's kind of the one we care about, though, right?
Yeah, it's the one that teases whatever's coming next or some sort of big reveal. Yeah.
The other one's always kind of like a tongue-in-cheek sort of little joke.
Yeah, the one in was it Iron Man 3 where he's talking to Banner the whole time?
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a nice touch, but we don't really need that. Yeah. I'm not gonna cry over it.
Yeah, I know. It's just something because there's been one in every Marvel movie since Iron Man. So it's just, I mean, I guess if you're gonna start it, you're gonna start taking them away. Avengers is any point because it's a break in the phases, right?
You could just make Thanos again. and then really teasing Infinity War. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
You don't
Or
think
just
they
make
might?
in the middle or something.
You don't think they might start kind of teasing the Civil War stuff?
Yeah,
First?
that's
Oh
coming
no,
up
yeah,
too,
that's what I'm
right?
saying. Like, I know that the mid season, the mid credits tease or whatever isn't Infinity War.
So it's gonna be it's probably Civil War.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe. But I feel like with the Avengers movies, it should always build up to that end game, which is Thanos. So it'd be cool to see him maybe with the gauntlet. A couple more gems are in there, and then he says something about Infinity War, and then we just leave it at that for a couple of years until it comes back.
Yeah, because if you do think about it, the first one had Thanos, and we didn't see
Yeah.
Thanos again until
Guardians.
and that was like 3 years later. So
Like, it's not. Yeah, so I think that'd be cool.
Well, that's the whole point. Avengers, like as a team up movie, they have to be.
Yeah,
big
and you,
epic
and you
scale
take that
sort of
advantage with the Avengers movies to tease that big boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kinda thing.
because as big as those other movies are, Avengers are your huge ones.
Yeah,
that everyone's
it's the main-
watching.
yeah.
So
And Infinity War is going to be like spectacular, right? Like the 2-part,
Yeah.
basically end to this whole thing maybe.
and then they do some sort of like universe reboot, a la the
We'll
comics,
talk about that
right?
before, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
What else? The first image of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool was revealed in his full costume. Pretty awesome. Just the way they've been doing all the marketing for this movie has been really, I think, really
yeah,
smart.
they're doing it right.
Really funny. They also confirmed that the movie's going to be rated R. Right? There's a lot of speculation that it was going to be PG-13, and that's why it got greenlit. But then in a funny video that they do with who's the guy who plays Slater from Saved by the Bell?
Mario Lopez.
Yeah, so he does like those like e-chat talks or whatever, talking about like celebrities and their like what all that stuff, right? So he's talking. They do like a fake video where Mario Lopez is talking with Ryan Reynolds, and then they do this like the whole thing where they drop an F-bomb and he says like "fuck you, Slater," and I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I thought it's also hilarious.
Yeah, and
Check that
Deadpool
out.
takes a TV or something and like basically kills Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
It's all special.
Yeah, I know, but like this again, that this whole idea that they're just like embracing this like breaking the third wall thing.
That's the right character, and
right?
Yeah.
Because like if you're doing a Deadpool movie, Deadpool would be aware that he's in a movie, right?
Yeah.
So he would.
And that's the weird thing about it. It's like he's basically unstoppable, you know what I mean? Especially in his own movie.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds with his quippy jokes that we know him for, he's just perfect for the role.
it makes sense.
And plus,
talked
he's
about it
always like
before.
physically fit and stuff. Yeah, I know. I'm just
and we have
reiterating.
Yeah, and we are happy for him that he kind of got this role, and it's being filmed in Vancouver, which is his hometown.
Because his career was definitely like he was definitely dying like with his movies all bombing.
Yeah.
But this one like it's weird. I wonder how successful it'll be because like I feel like Deadpool isn't. I don't know if it'll
Mainstream
reach that
popular?
wide audience. You know what I mean?
I
Whenever I ask people who like comic books or superhero movies, like they don't know what his power
Really?
is. Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of people that just like Deadpool that don't really like other comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of one of the easier ones to get into,
But
even though
even-
he's really complicated. Like,
No, that's true. I think, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it'll do like huge, but that's just my own personal prediction. And like whenever like I have to like explain who he is, I always say he breaks the fourth wall. And I always mention when he was in Marvel versus Capcom.
yeah,
There's one of the moves where he jumps up and grabs the enemy's health bar, the actual health bar,
Yeah.
and bashes it over the enemy. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's like the epitome of what Deadpool is.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, even in that Mario Lopez interview, they talk about how he was featured in the Wolverine movie, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, that's not how we're doing it this time."
Yeah, there's probably gonna be a bash on Green Lantern too. I just know it.
yeah.
Well,
Like, it's-
probably.
He can get away with that kind of stuff
Yeah,
with this.
it's gonna happen. You have to make fun of your past mistakes.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it in this kind of movie. Here's one that I thought was this one pretty much dropped like the day after we recorded our last podcast. The first image as Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was revealed, and yes, he is bald. For all those people who are wondering, and he looks, it looks a lot like Lex Luthor. I'm not,
Yeah.
I mean, they did the lighting thing. It's a little bit dulled again, right? Like they do with these DC movies so far.
Well, it's just the way he's putting the images out. He just what's it called?
like he's using a filter.
Yeah, just using a filter every time he throws one out, just to give it a different feel. You know.
Do you think he's on Instagram? He's got this picture and he's like going deciding. He's like asking the others like, "What filter should I?"
Yes. So.
No, I think he's got like the good scowl. I mean, again, Jesse Eisenberg is.
It's weird too because like he just literally just no emotion staring at the camera or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you take so much away from it. What he's thinking about and his demeanor and like it just. I think the image has convinced everybody from one image.
I know it's pretty crazy.
You
Like
know,
we also
that's-
we read way too far into these.
Yeah, I
things
know, but like
sometimes.
it's just crazy how everyone's on board now.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of just based on his like performance in Social Network because like it's pretty, like he gets pretty evil at some points and like he's just very intelligent and like I think that's why they hired him or whatever. And I've seen other movies. He's just a really good actor, like just really really good. So.
All right, I think Jeremy. I think you totally nailed it. Yeah, I mean, it speaks. They say about picture speaks 1,000 words. I think this picture really does. Something they needed to do because there's been so much speculation about it, and like people kept posting like pictures about would post pictures of how Eisenberg's hair was shorter than it normally is, and like all this stuff. You're like, okay, like enough is enough. Might as well just put out a picture, like what I mean. So it's easier.
Yeah, there's a few pictures where he had like a buzz cut.
Yeah.
After he filmed, obviously, so.
And they're like, okay, well, I mean, they want to get out ahead of the speculation and stuff. I think they've done a really good job of that and giving us like pieces here and there so that we don't start feeling starved for stuff and like jumping on like rumors that people are throwing out, right?
Yeah, and every members basically have their own picture except for Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg.
But are all those characters in Batman vs Superman?
No, but like every like rumor
Flash,
mill, every like rumor always says they all make some sort of appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be like a B-roll of like what they're doing in their own cities or something. Like I feel, and then like something cool like that.
They're gonna do that.
So yeah, like for like imagine that like we kind of glossed over the trailer, but there's someone tweeted the guy who's mixing the sound or the music.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's working with Clint Mansell, who does like all the epic superhero stuff. Like he did Dark Knight, Superman, and they have seen the trailer, and he said it's awesome, obviously, and all that stuff. But like they're scoring music specifically for the trailer, right?
Isn't
who knows what action beats are going to be in that trailer?
It's ridiculous.
You know what I mean, like think about it. We're finally going to see a live action Batman and Superman together. That's my most anticipated thing ever.
Yes, Jeremy. I again 100% agree. It's the reason. Like when I see images of like really detailed like images that almost look photoreal of like a Batman standing with like Superman floating, and I'm like that just gets me so excited.
That same feeling with the Avengers. We knew it was building up to that movie, and then we see Cap, Thor, and Hulk standing beside each other, and they're fighting those enemies. Like, hey, it's finally being realized.
And that moment spoke so many words. I mean, we talked about that.
For the trailer, I'm sure it will.
Yeah, after the trailer, you're gonna be like, holy fuck.
We've talked about how that moment in Avengers, that first moment where they're all just like chatting with each other, is like almost surreal. The first time we saw it,
it was perfect. Seeing them come to life, like
I mean, how cool would it be? I mean, this is not something that I don't think they're gonna do, but if Batman versus Superman starts with like a 5-year time jump from Superman, right?
Yeah.
And all the characters are already like functioning and they're already working in their own cities. Like Flash already is known, right? That's why you can cut to people cut to these images of them already doing their own thing, right? Yeah. So when people can make mentions to the Flash or Wonder Woman, and then it builds towards the Justice League movie, and then you don't have to worry about all these.
The origins are only going to be flashbacks in these movies. I feel right. They've already got Jason Momoa all dressed up as the the King of Atlantis, basically, right? They're not going to start him off as a on the surface, as a young kid or whatever. Yeah. It's so when this movie starts, I agree. Everyone's going to be already doing their thing, kind of thing.
Which is, I think, the way if you're DC, you kind of have to catch up. So that's jump in.
Cool. It's like a reverse reveal,
Yeah.
So then people see these people in this movie, and then they're excited for the solo movies, rather than Marvel's approach is all the solo movies are great, and they're excited for them to team up.
And unfortunately, Man of Steel, there wasn't too much. Things said about that. They were just little pieces with Lex Core and Wayne Tech. They couldn't really just blurt it out already because they didn't know if that movie was going to be successful or not. Yeah. Now this is basically our first movie into the foray. You know what I mean? That was like the Batman Begins kind of precursor.
That was the Iron Man 1.
Yeah, Iron Man 1, yeah.
So, speaking of, well, we'll stay in DC for a minute. So, my favorite director in Hollywood's name, Guillermo del Toro. I've been practicing.
Got it right that time.
Yeah, has he says in it, Guillermo. Anyway, he says he's turned in the script for the Justice League Dark film that he was attached to a long time ago, and it's been revised and it's ready to go. He says the story and the characters are solid, but that if he does do it, it'll all depend on the calendar and if he can fit it in and if things can fit together with his schedule and DC's schedule. And if not, he says eventually someone else will do it. So I guess really what to take away from that is, it might fit into Guillermo's calendar, but it's not on the slate for DC movies that was announced, right? There's no Justice League Dark movie.
Yeah, but they can play around with that if it's a good script, if they want to go ahead with it. Although that is sort of a kind of obscure group.
Right. And I mean, I preferably, I think, would want Guillermo directing that movie. He's got the sensibilities for that kind of film, right?
I would say no. I don't think I want him to do it.
Have you seen Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah, no, it's very cool. Weird. I don't know. I don't know if he really knows the source material as much, as Zack Snyder does or something, right? I don't know if he does fit into that stuff. I think he just likes to take a concept and go with it. And exactly with The Hobbit, right? Remember, he was going to do The Hobbit, but he was going to make it his own thing.
Yeah.
And then he was going to transition it slowly back into the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
To be fair,
kind of nervous about that and that not happening. And I was happy about that because I wanted The Hobbit to be just an extension of Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
I don't know if
it had
that
that same flow of thing.
But did it being an extension ever actually, was that a benefit to those movies or maybe a hindrance?
Well, I don't know. We'll never know. But I still like knowing that they're it's all the same kind of thing, right?
Give or take. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just used to these directors coming in like Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder who really pay attention to the source material and make it live on screen. I don't know if Guillermo del Toro will do that. I feel like he would just spin it in his own way and make it all weird and wacky.
I feel like with Justice League Dark you can sort of do that though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're all obscure characters.
Yeah.
Nobody's
It's so open for him to do that,
Exactly.
so that's why I think it's kind of a weird choice.
Yeah,
but
is someone gonna call foul because they didn't do Dead Man justice? No. I mean, I don't. The only thing Justice League Dark, the only thing I would care about is Constantine and the Swamp Thing. That's it. Right? Is there any other characters in that?
They would do Swamp.
I don't know. Deadman's pretty cool.
Deadman's okay, and I think he's kind of like a fan favorite or whatever. But I doubt they would put Swamp Thing in it.
Maybe Swamp Thing as like the villain of the first one. That'd be pretty cool, hey? Because he's always so misunderstood.
And who's playing John Constantine again? Is it?
I don't know.
Well, they don't have anyone cast for the movies, right? They have a guy in the TV show, but that's different.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. What's he doing? Isn't he doing something?
Sandman. That's Sandman.
Oh,
that's different. But that's what I'm saying. Swamp Thing and Sandman are sort of these beings that are outside of everything else.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Well, in the comics, they made those guys as like the pillars of elements or something like that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Animal Man and it was Animal Man and Swamp Thing. Those were the two, the red and the green, which was the whole idea of it was really cool.
Suicide Squad.
Okay, go, Jeremy, go.
No, did you see the image with all the cast members?
Yes, they're all standing next to each other or sitting in some cases.
But we got a reveal of certain characters that are playing. One's playing Deathstroke. Officially.
Yeah. Well, no, a young Deathstroke.
There's one guy from Mad TV who's in the movie for some reason.
We know that there's a guy playing Killer Croc. Killer Croc is going to be in the film.
What's that guy from that Dan would know?
The show that he's on? No, I don't know if Dan would know that one. And I don't even remember what it is offhand.
I think the cast is badass, though.
He's just a huge dude.
It's Michael J. White?
No. What is he doing? It's like a guy who's like Doctore from Spartacus. It's like a guy like that. But
the first Doctor?
Yeah, like the black guy.
No, Animaeus.
Yeah.
It's not him though.
No, it's not him, but it's like he has that same look.
So he's black.
He looks like him. That guy looks like the younger brother to that guy.
Like a younger brother or like a cousin or like. I'm just kidding.
I left it out because it was just like a set photo and it was just of them hanging, like not even, it was like just hanging out in a room, like a boardroom.
we have a Deathstroke now and a Killer Croc. And Killer Croc is in the movie. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I don't want. I want to know how they're gonna do Killer Croc. If they're gonna do like a mutated
obviously.
version or like just a big guy or whatever. I think they'll go more like the mutated man version, if I have to think. But my question is though, do we care about this movie until we see Batman vs Superman? What if Batman vs Superman isn't good? I mean, it's gonna be hard not to, for us. Even if it isn't good, it's gonna be hard for us to accept it. You know, we'll come out and be like, convince ourselves that it's good. I'm not.
Even the first time I saw Green Lantern, I was like, okay, like it wasn't. I wasn't like blown away, but I wasn't
No,
like.
the first time you really liked it. The second time you didn't like it.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, because mine was reversed a little bit.
The first time, I saw it, I was like, okay, like it's Green Lantern, you know. But that's because we know so much. Like we're willing to forgive so much.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm calling it out. BVS is going to be great. It's not
Of course
gonna
it
be
is.
Okay, but what if it's not? And then
movies training for this moment.
yeah,
He's had movies where they're direct translations from pictures to screen, and then
300
and
or
then, like,
Watchmen.
then his own like Tiger Punch where he does his own thing,
Mhm.
and now it's going to be an amalgamation of all that stuff. But
Is he getting?
and the
Is
source
he
material
getting?
is the Dark Knight Returns. Like, come on,
Is he
Like,
getting
this-
better as a director?
Perfect concoction. He's made 300 too. Like,
Jeremy, is he getting better as a director though? Is he subsequent movies?
absolutely.
I mean, with what's that movie with the 3 chicks in it? Sucker
Sucker
Punch.
Punch. Well, I just
Is
said
that-
he made direct translations, which was Watchmen and 300.
Yeah.
Put his own little slice on it with the slow mo action.
Mhm.
Then he made Sucker Punch, which is his own take, and with the slow mo action again. And what else did he do after that?
I don't know.
Either way, those
Did
are
one
three,
more that was
those
really
are 3
dumbed
movies.
down.
And Watchmen is already a teen superhero movie, right?
Yeah. And it's
Then
also
he
very
made Then he made Man of Steel, which was his Batman Begins kind of Christopher Nolan take.
Yeah.
So he did all these movies that he just did, and he's taken all the lessons from them, all the critiques, and then he's taken a new source material, which is The Dark Knight Returns, having just done Man of Steel and the critique from that, and doing Batman vs Superman now.
So you think it kind of plays into his strengths, where if he tries to go too far into his own thing, it doesn't work. But if he tries to adapt something too faithfully, Watchmen was not critically well received.
Disagree that
What's that?
it's people say it's too faithful and it sucks. I disagree because I like seeing that come to life in that way. But most people would say that you need to adapt it for the screen and change it up a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Right? So now he's done 2 movies exactly the same, then a mixture, and then and then Man of Steel. So I think he just has all that under his resume, and he's going to learn from all of them.
And make
And
the
now we're
most
gonna get
exciting
BVS,
movie,
right?
the most,
And so he's going to make the most of all his lessons.
the best
And
thing
so
ever.
That's why it's not going to fail because of all the shit he's done just previous to that.
Well, I don't think it's going to fail commercially anyway. I think a movie called Batman vs Superman is going to make a lot of money regardless.
And that's why they didn't change the name because apparently it basically was a code name, and then it was like, hey, you got to
Just
keep
leave
that
it,
name.
yeah.
Well, they did the old Nintendo. It's called Nintendo DS, codename Nintendo DS. Here's the Nintendo DS official name.
And and it is basically that, like they are like against each other, right? And
Yeah.
the first thing they filmed actually was the football teams,
Yeah.
Metropolis and
the Knights,
Gotham,
the Gotham
yeah.
Knights, and the
And there's and apparently the people who were watching the footage said that Metropolis like wins the game or something like that. So that's all.
I think you're reading a little bit too much into
Foreshadowing?
that.
Yeah, it's fortunate. Right? Like I think it goes back and forth a little bit, but the Metropolis wins. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think there's a fight that breaks out. I think they talk about one of the Gotham team starts a fight at some point, but then the Metropolis team ends up winning. It was the very first scene, very first thing they shot in the entire movie, which is kind of foreshadowing. I think it was just how it worked out with filming schedule, but
Well, but the scene itself foreshadows something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Batman vs Superman and it's Metropolis vs Gotham. So, yeah.
Talk about reading into things.
Yeah.
X-Men news. Lana Condor will play Jubilee in Apocalypse. Singer has teased Archangel, and Ben Hardy has been cast as Angel. Wolverine 3 could be Jackman's last kick at the can, if you believe what his Instagram feed has to say. He tweeted out a picture of him with the claws and said, I can't remember the exact quote, but something that essentially is, this is his last time putting on the claws. which makes people think, oh, we're not going to see him as show up in Deadpool. We're not going to see him show up in Apocalypse. I wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in Apocalypse and maybe in a cameo role.
I think more so means this is the last solo Wolverine movie.
Yeah,
It's not gonna do 4. It's gonna be 3.
Yeah.
But you don't like the first one, but still.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's not called Wolverine 3. Do we know what it's called, or is it just called?
Well, he has 3 claws, so it'd be a good like logo. Like X-Men 3, right? They have
Yeah.
Well, 1990s logo.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park 3, where the claw slashes through.
Yeah.
What would you? No, I mean, you could, because the Wolverine was a cool title, right? What else? What other nicknames like could you use?
Yeah,
simply?
Weapon X in there.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm not saying that's what it'd be. I'm just like thinking.
No, because the first one is the Weapon X story.
Yeah, I know,
but you could just he's called Weapon X.
Yeah. Call it Logan.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I don't know how you could market a movie called Logan. Logan's Run, the sequel to the Logan's Run. Disney, continuing their recent trend of adapting their classic films into live action, will be making a live action Winnie the Pooh movie and a live action Pinocchio movie. I'll just mention that.
Live action Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I know.
They're doing Beauty and the Beast.
And they're doing Jungle Book, but
and they just do Cinderella.
Yep. This doesn't end.
No, that makes sense.
When do they do a live action Lion King?
They're all animals. What are you gonna? They're all just gonna be CG.
Well, Christopher Robin's not an animal.
Yeah, but the rest of them are animals.
No, they're supposed to be his stuffed animals, right?
People are gonna see the fuck out of that movie.
see the quote of the day.
Like, think about it. Even it's live action, but there'll be CG, but the CG is gonna be so ridiculously good looking.
Yeah,
it's gonna have some famous actors thrown in the mix.
Well, there's no and
every
voice
parent
actors
in the world is gonna take their kid to the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, moving on from that, because
it just play Eeyore. Who do you cast as Eeyore?
Depresses me, the idea of it.
Well, did he play Donkey?
He's Donkey, yeah.
Stephen Amell, who we all know as Oliver Queen / Green Arrow / Arrow on The Arrow, or is it just called? I think it's just called Arrow on CW. Has been cast as Casey Jones for the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, TMNT 2, I guess would we call it. I think it's a pretty cool casting choice for Casey Jones. I wasn't a big fan of the TMNT; just felt like another Michael Bay action movie. Just happened to feature characters that I liked. Not really.
Michael Bay didn't direct it though.
But it felt that way. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because they set it up like that.
Yeah, well, I know, and it looked like it too. It wasn't just it didn't come from nowhere. Like the lens flares and like the Transformers sounds in the trailer. It's a Ninja Turtles movie, and they played the Transformers sound in it. Anyway, I'm a little bit more excited for this now. I like Stephen Amell. I think he's a good actor, and I think he'd make a good Casey Jones. So,
what does it take to Casey Jones?
Not much. Physicality.
But apparently, he won the role with his screen test with Megan Fox.
Ooh.
That's how he basically won it. But it doesn't like they also know that Arrow is a very watched show. Like the ratings are good, so it's good to pull someone like that in there. And I just like it seeing someone in like our nerd culture who's relatively unknown being like put into the big spotlight like that and catching a huge break, right? So
getting props for the stuff that we care about. Spielberg. So Spielberg hasn't done much lately, but he is going to direct another movie. It's going to be called Ready Player One. It's a movie we've talked about before. It's based off a novel called Ready Player One. It's very cool. If you haven't read it, I have it. I've never finished it. Every time I've started it, I haven't finished. I guess that's kind of an indictment.
What's the plot again?
The idea is that like in the future, like there's this billionaire, quadrillionaire guy. He invented this this virtual reality world that feels super real, right? And everyone became like a huge part of it. And then he was a big fan of the 80s movies and 80s stuff, so the whole world's filled with these references to 80s culture and all this stuff. And when he dies, he left like his fortune to in like this secret location in this virtual reality world that it can only be found if you like follow the right clues that he left, and they're
So
all
it's like a real life video game within
a video game.
the fake.
Yeah, exactly. And then with references to like classic Star Wars and Back to the Future and all this stuff.
And that's why the movie is hard to get made because of all these references and rights and stuff.
But I mean, if you have Spielberg behind it, you can get those rights.
Yeah.
You know. So that's exciting. I think they kept talking about like who do you get to direct this movie that's like really like there's a book it's really well beloved in like especially our culture, the nerd geeky culture. So Spielberg is definitely I think the right call for that. So let's talk about something that I think was going to spawn another conversation. So we'll move on quick from this thing a little bit. So Vin Diesel has teased that Furious 8 will be set in New York. And we'll have Kurt Russell back as his mysterious Mr. Nobody or something, whatever his name was. So El Mayambe, the guy from Latino Review who does all these leaks or whatever, these big scoops, says that they want Eva Mendes back for Furious 8. She played a role in Too Fast, Too Furious and cameoed in the fifth movie.
That's
so.
fascinating.
How about do you say that's not fascinating? Hello?
I said Fast Five is the name of the movie.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I assume you both.
Fascinating. What?
No, that's not what I said. My question is.
Fascination.
So my question is, have you guys both seen Furious 7?
I haven't, but Jamie has.
I have. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about it right now?
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
Absolutely.
Like, these aren't the kind of movies that have spoilers for me. Like it's going to be a popcorn action flick. I'm going to see it either way. You can go ahead and talk about it.
All right. I really liked it. I didn't like it more than some of the like Fast 5 and 6 were over the top, but I think this one went even further and it kind of took me out of it a little bit. I don't know how you felt about that, Jeremy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, first one was a very grounded movie that they tried to capture a certain culture, which resonated with everyone who's around that same age who had cars and whatnot. That's why it was so like popular and like it's a cult hit. Then for some reason Vin Diesel didn't want to come back. I think because he asked for more money. Yeah, like way too much. So they said, okay, screw you. And they brought in Tyrese and Ludacris for Too Fast, Too Furious, and the movie just felt cheesy, right? Like it was
very cheesy.
It wasn't like over the top like a heist movie or whatever. It just the special effects were terrible and it was just cheesy. And then the series basically done. And then Tokyo Drift and Justin Lin come along. And for people like me, I just didn't care because what fascinated me about the series was the cast in the first movie.
Yeah.
I just thought they were all like the coolest people, right? But then that movie hinted at Vin Diesel returning. And Vin Diesel agreed to do the fourth movie, which is my second favorite because it kind of captures moments of the first movie.
Yeah.
He agreed to do it because he got back the rights, or Universal sold him the rights to Riddick or something like that.
Yeah, they let him. They said they'll do another Riddick movie if you do Fast and Furious.
And I think he has some sort of ownership now in the Riddick name.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because he just because he knew that fans craved that series and they wanted it. So that's how he was able to make that kind of low budget Riddick movie, which garnered huge success, and it might spin off more Riddick movies, whatever, right?
He really likes that character too.
Yeah. So when that Fast and Furious, the fourth one came out, I was like, I just couldn't believe that Vin Diesel and Paul Walker were going to be together again, right? Because that's like to me, it's like a famous, really cool on-screen duo: the tuner car versus the muscle car, and the muscle versus yeah. So that movie was low budget, great action though, but really low budget, and it kind of people don't like it as much. But it made so much money. Fast 5 started the whole superhero heist movie thing, and it's regarded as the favorite in the series. That's when Rock came in.
Yeah.
And it was just like a global thing where they're these crazy like heist people.
Where they went from. Yeah, I had a friend. I had a friend the other day who said she's only seen the first one and the second one, the Fast and Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious. Which Too Fast, Too Furious, by the way, great sequel title. Love that.
Oh yeah. And actually, in the first movie, Ja Rule, who's in it, he has a song in the movie, and at the end credits he says "Too Fast, Too Furious," like just as a lyric.
Yeah.
So like he's credited for that title. And then Fast 5 is huge success, and like I'm just like this awesome. Like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker are back together again,
And
doing this
Joel
crazy
Rock
shit.
in
Like
there.
these movies aren't, and like now these movies aren't made to, you can't really take them seriously anymore.
Yeah,
They're just like
exactly.
this crazy roller coaster ride, with essentially superheroes now.
So yeah,
Just do
so
that.
All being over the
And
top.
like now the series is known for these crazy over the top action sequences that can basically only be found in these movies.
Yeah.
Apart from Avengers now or something, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? And then Fast 6 comes out, and that's my personal like favorite of the over the top
Of the
heist
new
movies.
ones?
Yeah. I don't know why. I just loved it so much. Because Justin Lin, that was his last movie. So he kind of brought all full circle. They
Yeah.
kind of all got their identities, and they got their original house. It was the family thing was really put into play, and Justin Lin kind of cemented the circle and ended it there.
Well, that and it
he's-
brought it back to like the modern timeline, right? So for all
that
these
brought-
movies
that,
with like
that leads right up to Tokyo Drift.
yeah,
Right, so not very many people know that, but Han was in Tokyo Drift, and he was in all these in
prequels.
4, 5,
Yeah.
and 6. But Tokyo Drift takes place right after 6, and that's the launching off point for Furious 7, where Han is,
Like,
they
they
just
avenge
real-
his death.
murder,
Mhm.
and the guy from Furious 6, his brother was Jason Statham, and he wants revenge for his brother,
Yeah.
so he kills Han, and he tries to kill
Everybody else.
Yeah, everybody else with the bomb in that house.
Yeah.
Then so going into this movie, we obviously know that Paul Walker died halfway through ish.
The filming. Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah, and they delayed it because this movie was supposed to come out last summer, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a year ago. So they made the right move in delaying it, and everyone was wondering what are they going to do? Are they going to scrap the movie altogether because one of your main characters basically is, they didn't finish it? But luckily enough, he filmed more than half and essential parts as well. And then they took the time. They used his brothers for stand-ins and CGI. And throughout the movie, I noticed the CGI. Did you, Julian?
I don't to be on Paul Walker. Is that what you're specifically?
Yeah.
No, I didn't until the very end.
That's good.
At the very end, you can you notice it, but that's it.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Most people couldn't tell you that they noticed it, right?
Well, no,
Which
it's
is a good
because
thing.
even if going in, you're obviously aware of this whole thing. Everyone is, right? So you're looking
I know, but a
for
lot
it,
of people
right?
that I know, they didn't know that they weren't killing them off.
Well, yeah. See, neither did I. And I thought that was one of the
That's weird
most
to me. 'Cause
commendable. No, so it's so easy to play that. Paul Walker's gonna die.
and use that to your advantage, right? So Universal Pictures took the right road.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun, and didn't play with your emotions.
Well, they do at the end, which is fair.
Oh,
but they've earned it.
but that's
yeah.
his sense.
Yeah. And
And
it's
so
fair.
The movie, what's that?
Well, it's fair to do it that way. It's so cheap.
Yeah,
It's so
I'm saying
easy. Yeah. To go
I'm
with
saying
the other way.
They legitimately did the right thing. They didn't use this as a marketing ploy per se. They did the right thing,
Yep.
and it pays off in the end. So throughout I don't know how much the story would have changed, but they set it up where Paul has his kid and his wife, and it's kind of becoming too dangerous. What they're a part of.
Yeah.
So they set it up in the beginning, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's right. That's true. And so then we're hinted at throughout the movie that this is his last ride because he needs to stay at home with his wife and kid, right, and be there for his future kid. And his wife is pregnant again with a girl.
Yeah.
So we know that this is the last ride, and so that plays with our emotions. But we know that killing him off.
Yeah, and
which is a good thing.
What is so, because Paul Walker was never, to me, I was never really attached to him, but I really like Vin Diesel, and knowing Vin Diesel was he lost his best friend, really.
Yeah.
And you can totally see how honest his emotions are when he's talking about it and all that kind of stuff, and how much
reviews and whatnot. It's not acting.
And how this movie to him is so important for the legacy of his best friend, right?
Yeah.
And so really, the life of his best friend, though he died in real life, lives on in this made-up universe, right?
Yeah.
Where he's living with his wife and 2 kids,
Right.
which is so much.
That's the thing that's so tragic is that this is such a cool on-screen duo that we had so long ago that basically disappeared. Then we got this second chance and it comes back, And it's yes, we get to see Paul Walker and Vin Diesel again on screen doing these crazy, fun, just pure fun adrenaline movies, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And it's knowing that we got that chance again, and it's over now. It's like, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was there and it got taken away. But
was-
again, yeah,
it's-
the send off at the end is just completely perfect. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get emotional.
I know I choked up.
I choked up a little bit even, and again, it's not necessarily because of Paul Walker the person. It's because of what he represented in that duo that I
Yeah.
love so much on screen.
Well, it's fair because you didn't know the person.
Yeah,
but
exactly,
He meant
right.
something to you in that form.
Right, and yeah, so he's special in that way. And I guess the send off, yeah, like you can just tell, like everyone gets their goodbye last look at him when he's on the beach with his family, and then Vin Diesel doesn't say goodbye to him. He just kind of goes away, and then he hops in his Charger and he's driving down the road. And then Paul Walker shows up beside him in a Supra, a white Supra, which is the 10-second car from the first movie. So it's this white car, heavenly, you know, that represents the whole series basically from the beginning. And he pulls up to him and says, "You thought you could leave without saying goodbye." And that moment right there is the CGI moment that people will talk about.
Yeah.
That kind of looks weird because it's his younger brother
With his
in the
face
car,
on it. Yeah.
with his face on top, kind of mixed in both.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward, but
it looks good enough, I think.
it looks good enough. And then they go to Vin Diesel. He kind of smiles, and they go back to Paul, and then you can tell it's green screen footage of him in some other scene, just smiling, looking at him or whatever, right?
Wow.
That's just on top and not like translucent on top. It's just like an actual shot of him.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do, but
Yeah, and then they're driving away, and then they pop off clips from all the movies or whatever, right?
Yeah.
With him, this super sad song playing on the background.
Which they
And
wrote
it's
for
like-
the movie too, by the way.
Yeah, they
Great
wrote
movie,
for the
great
movie.
song.
Apparently thinks he's going to win an Oscar. I'm listening to it nonstop.
Yeah,
like I love
great
that
song.
and it just hits you hard because like you realize, yeah, he died, and it's just sad that he's leaving this series that he helped develop and was such a huge part of, and now that part is missing, and it's the essential part that is Vin and Paul.
Yeah, I don't know if there's ever a way to. There's no way to recapture that in this series. I think it might really hurt the series moving forward. That heart missing. I mean, you can try to put more The Rock in it, right? And that will probably help make some money. But I think
I don't know. That's a completely different dynamic, though.
No, I think what you're talking about, the movies being good and having the heart, and that's what really was what sold it. There was really heart there with all these characters, not just Paul and Vin, although they were the center of it.
The reason why they're doing what they're doing, even though it's an unbelievable thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
And just to end off, what happens is they're driving, they're smiling, flashbacks, and then Paul's car veers down a different path, and Vin goes straight, and then it fades to white and says "For Paul" or whatever. And that's why, like, when the lights came on, every girl and or just anybody basically were wiping their eyes, basically, right? Because it just really hits you hard of what happened and what it means for the series, and for the people who are his best friends and basically family.
Yeah,
and it's like special seeing them being able to say goodbye to him on screen.
Yeah,
in the franchise they grew up together with.
Yeah, I mean, like you see shots of Ludacris and who's the other guy? The other guy. Tyrese, and like back in like Too Fast, Too Furious, and like how he's got like a massive like afro, and they look so much younger, right? And then they move forward.
Yeah, it was like a decade ago, basically.
Yeah, and you move it forward, and like they've been doing these movies now for so long, and it's like the movies. It's all about the theme of the movies is all about family, and then if one is taken away, everyone's lost a family member.
A huge part is missing now.
Yeah,
and it's just great that we got the send off and it worked. They pulled it off. And they didn't try to throw it in your face, just at the end, a nice tribute at the end. And again, just to remind you how tragic this is, because this series is getting to be huge, like basically Avengers huge. You know what I mean? And now a very important part of that is missing. So we'll see what happens with Furious 8 or Fast 8 or whatever. It's going to happen. This movie did make a ton of money.
Yeah,
it might be because of Paul. They knew it was the last movie.
Partially,
but they didn't say like this is Paul's last movie or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They just let everybody know we're not killing him off in the movie. We're gonna retire his character.
They didn't ever say it explicitly. I think people went in thinking he would die.
No, they did. They said they're not killing this character in the movie.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I didn't know that going in.
They didn't say that, then they'd be playing with everybody when you're watching that movie.
Which I think most people don't know.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm saying Universal did a phenomenal job with this whole thing.
Overall, what did you think of the film itself? Not just obviously the send off, which was great.
I thought it flowed really good, and the like great one-liners that we know and love from the series now. Obviously cheesy, but we accept it going in.
Yeah.
And again, I say like, there's only that one that really cool action that you can only get from the Fast series, and it delivers. I think.
Yeah, like there's spoilers for the movie, but there's no other movie where you're gonna have two people.
Yeah,
I know. It's like as a joke. Spoilers to the Fast and Furious movies, but there's no other series in anywhere where you're gonna see two cars and two people in them just drive at each other and crash their cars into each other, and that is their only plan. Like that's the only place you're gonna see that, and it's totally awesome, totally cool. And there's I don't know who put this out there on the internet, but I thought it totally captured the feeling about these movies. Is that the Fast and Furious franchise is the franchise that everybody is in on the joke, right? Everybody knows they're cheesy and lame, but they don't care because they know that they're not trying to be anything else.
It's funny because you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, it's like Expendables meets the Avengers meets a racing movie. Like it's just
meets Ocean 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And then they just do it the best. Like they're just so good.
And we talk about like Jason Statham fit really well into this really cool Terminator-esque villain, right? Kept popping up in all these different places, like unstoppable.
No need for a huge backstory of him. I'm doing this for my little kid brother. Toretto and all his family members. You're dead to me now. Like,
and the way like that first scene he comes, like the first scene of the movie really, where he's like walking out of the hospital, kind of sets the tone for the entire film. I'm like, it just
there's a lot of cool callbacks to the first movie with the race wars and stuff.
Oh, is there? Well, I mean, I'm talking about the first time you see Statham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The race wars, that stuff where in the desert felt kind of like they don't really talk about any of that stuff again, but there was callbacks to the first.
Race wars happens in the first movie.
Yeah.
So it's cool callbacks for original fans of the series.
Yeah. What did you guys think of Kurt? Or I guess Jeremy, what did you think of Kurt Russell?
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
The guy just knows how to deliver like cheesy lines, right?
Yeah.
It's so seriously and so well, and it just like that where he's talking about like the like Irish ale or whatever, and it's like, and then obviously there's gonna be a Corona joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's another throwback too.
Yeah, and he's like I'm more of a Corona man, and then instantly pulls out a bucket of Corona, and so like there's all that kind of stuff that that people like you said, because they've been attached to the series for so long. There's all these like heartwarming moments you can do. It's the same reason we like extended universes with comic books is because
exactly
it's all connected.
And then Paul Walker has a touching scene with Mia, before the last ride where he's kind of like in trouble or whatever, and they talk about the first time they kind of met in the first movie when he kept going to the shop and eating those tuna sandwiches. They talk about that. So like fans of the series like, oh, that's awesome. Like we remember that. That's a funny thing. So
yeah. And that's the thing. They're not just pure action. There's a lot of really good comedy in these movies.
Yeah.
I love the first time you see Paul Walker in the movies. That's I don't want. I'm not gonna spoil that because those you can't really describe jokes, but that's pretty funny. And obviously Tyrese and Ludacris have like their like bickering thing that they do all the time, which is I think a little overplayed in this one. But there's still certain like really good moments in it. Action scene wise, the chase on the mountain's probably the best one. The end with like the drone was again a little bit much for me, but otherwise I really
especially with the Rock in the ambulance.
Well, yeah, no, not only that. Okay, Dan, you'll love this.
Yeah, I know. I think I saw this in the trailer.
The Rock is
ambulance
in
off a pitch and it was a minigun out or something.
No, okay, yes.
That's like has this tech that's following the crew, and they're protecting some chick who knows a bunch of secrets or has her own technology to do stuff. And this drone is just following them around and basically taking all these cars. But every time it takes out a car, they miraculously like threw the girl from one car into another car.
That's the most ridiculous part of the movie.
Like I do these crazy drifts and like getting her in, or like just jumping out of the car. And then The Rock comes out of nowhere after he flexes his arm and
that's the best part. He has a cast
at a hospital and he driving the ambulance off a bridge to land on the drone that's going under the bridge. Then he gets out of the ambulance. He like smashes the window. It's like sideways, so it looks like he's coming out of a door basically, and picks up the Gatling gun off the drone, and then shoots down
Yeah, and that's where he
Wait,
says that line in the trailer.
Maybe he has a Gatling gun first. I'm
No,
not
no,
sure.
no. He takes the Gatling gun off of the drone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
The best part is the fact that he has a cast on his arm. It's apparently broken, and he has to go to work, quote unquote. So he just flexes his arm, and the cast breaks.
Well, yeah, he flexes it and it breaks, and he rips it off.
Yeah,
and people won't know, but The Rock is actually barely in this movie.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah, he's just like a side character who comes at the end and helps.
Yeah, I heard that.
But I think it's because he was filming Hercules during this period, so to not completely conflict, he did some stuff for this movie.
Well, and it's so cool how seeing him do the certain parts that he was in. That fight scene with Jason Statham is awesome.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Actually, in terms of directors, I didn't really notice a difference between Justin Lin and this new guy. Actually,
people say that some of those more crazy camera moves, where you have a camera attached.
Yeah, those are the only things that I felt were new and fresh to the series.
Yeah.
But they were still very at home for the series.
Well, what do you think? So when people talk about those kind of camera moves, that they say you shouldn't use them because they call attention to the fact that it's a camera move and not your own. You're not paying attention to the movie anymore. You're paying attention to the fact that the camera's doing something interesting.
Yeah,
I kind of like them because I think, especially in a movie like this, it's very stylized. It just adds a little bit of flair to it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
But I mean, there's definitely those people out there that don't. Okay.
As I said on Twitter, it's not my favorite Fast movie. I think 6 is my personal favorite. I have a gripe with 5 because I don't like the main heist as much with the bank vaults.
Yeah.
Still great, obviously. But what pushes this movie, to be people's favorites is the tribute at the end.
Yeah.
And how special that is, right?
So, and that's what it is. I mean, you're gonna give someone a touching moment at the end. People are gonna remember that for a long time.
Yeah.
And
the thing is that because he wasn't Paul wasn't too much in the movie, we didn't get a lot of those buddy with Vin in it. You know what I mean? It was kind of a Vin story the whole time, except for the beginning and stuff. So it kind of felt a little bit disjointed here and there.
And it's very much like a soap opera in many ways. The different character stories, like you have what's her name, who has her memory is missing, right?
Letty,
and it's and then it comes back at the end. Well, Vin might be dying, and all this kind of stuff. It's it's all very over the top, but you're like, okay, you've already accepted it. He just drove his car and gently placed a bag of grenades on a helicopter as he's flying. You know what I mean? It's you're like, well, if they're gonna do that, it's okay that there's all this soap opera extra stuff in there.
Yeah.
Did you like the stuff in Saudi Arabia in United Arab Emirates? I think in Dubai.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
that's my least favorite part of the movie.
Great special effects. It looked very realistic.
Well, the car flying through the towers.
I mean, because the budget for this movie is $250 million, I'm pretty sure. So
Jesus, it's only gonna be more. I mean, how do you top some of these?
They probably extend the budget for the CGI for Paul Walker over the year they had to make that look good. And I did notice there's one moment where he was completely CGI. He was in the background, and I didn't notice it. When they go back to LA for the first time and they're all standing there, not one time to do a close up on Paul because
he's CG
not in that scene. Yeah,
that's they did really cool stuff, like the stuff that he was there, like when he's fighting in that bus and stuff. That was really cool.
But when he fights Tony Jaa, that's his younger brother the whole time, and it's so dark in that scene.
Oh, the second time he fights Tony Jaa.
Yeah. When it's all dark and stuff, and he says too slow at the end.
Yeah.
You can't see his face at all, and that's for a reason. But oh well.
Again, none of the stuff stood out to me. But again, I'm not gonna gripe on the fact that they did a pretty good job of inserting a character who is not with us anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite one. I'm not sure which one is. I'd have to rewatch them to know that for sure. But I just get that feeling that it was just a bit too much, especially with the stuff in Saudi Arabia. I keep saying Saudi Arabia. Dubai's not in Saudi Arabia, is it? I think it's in United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Which is next door.
Both have Arab in it. That's probably why you're getting this.
Well, to be fair, that is the same word twice, so whatever.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with the series. It's obviously going to feel a different, but whatever.
I don't know. That next movie, it's going to have to kind of address the elephant in the room, kind of. like right away that there's a major player missing, and then try to not
I don't think it'll address it at all because like we get all that closure.
Well, yeah, that's
basically in the past 2 movies with him having a kid, and then Mia being like, "This is it, like this is the last one."
And with sending him off like that,
they're
next
not
movie,
gonna.
you don't have to constantly be referencing him.
Yeah, they're not gonna
They'll
have him on
probably
the
show a couple
phone or
later.
hear his voice or anything.
Yeah.
It's over for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
My prediction is that they'll bring back Johnny Tran from the first Fast and Furious movie
Johnny,
as the villain.
I don't know who that is. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. Jeremy is the encyclopedia of all things Fast and Furious, apparently.
Yeah, I love this series.
Well, I don't know. The more we hear about it, I guess we'll definitely be talking about it. The more we hear about Furious 8. So
And apparently, it takes place in New York. That's
yes,
the one thing we know.
which is they've never been there yet, so that's cool. Every time they're in like big cities like that, though, I find it weird because like where are all the cops? You know, most of the time. There's only like 4 cop cars in that entire LA scene, and meanwhile the entire city is being blown up. So, it's weird. It's weird that that's kind of what bugs me, and it's not the fact that they like make cars fly and stuff. So let's move on to some other stuff. There's not a lot of other stuff. There's Nintendo stuff I want to talk about, a little bit of TV stuff, but games-wise, Square Enix announced a sequel to Deus Ex Human Revolution, which was for the PS3, PS, and Xbox 360, and PC, with a trailer for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which will be on PS4, Xbox One, and PC as well. Adam Jensen, who's the character...
Mankind Rises or Dawn of Man.
Or Deus Ex Rogue Mankind.
The Rogue Mankind Rises. Anyway, so I played the last one. I didn't beat the last one, but it was a lot of fun. The whole kind of premise of the thing is that you can play it. You can play it how you want. You can go pure stealth, non-lethal entirely if you want. You can just go crazy, guns a-blazing if you want. There's a very intricate story that I'm not really familiar with that's been going on for a couple generations. The first Deus Ex game was like on the PS1, and so either way, it looks pretty cool. The trailer's like really intense, really cool CG trailer. Adam Jensen, who was the character from the last game, is back for that. Black Ops 3 was confirmed by Activision. It will be coming this year. Not surprising anyone. Yeah. There's a Call of Duty coming out again this year. Batman Arkham Knight limited edition PS4. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures for this.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
But if I didn't have a PS4, this is the one I would buy.
Silver, right?
Yeah, it's like a cool kind of not quite chrome. It's like a gunmetal silver sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd buy this or that limited edition like PlayStation Anniversary one. They're both pretty cool. But this one is Batman, so I think it has to automatically win.
It comes with a cool controller. It's the same color and stuff like that.
So in Mortal Kombat X, sample or DLC characters will be able to be sampled before you buy them, which is kind of cool. There's a feature called Living Towers, I think is what they're called.
Yep.
Where one of them is like an event tower, where if a new character comes out, like Jason, you'll be able to play a Jason-only event tower, where you play as him without having to buy Jason as a DLC character. Which is, I think, a cool way to... I mean, it's kind of fair. Like, I want to buy a character, maybe if I don't like the moves, what if, all that kind of stuff. That's a cool way to do it. I only bought it because I thought that's interesting, and I know you like Mortal Kombat, so...
Yeah, it might encourage people to buy them if they, find out they like the character.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm buying them all anyways. I'm going to buy the season pass, but that's me.
Yeah.
Were you talking about the Predator reveal at all?
Did we?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
On record, I'm saying that's the best character reveal of all time.
It was pretty sweet. It was pretty cool.
All time.
How did they do it?
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right.
I never did.
4 downloadable characters. It's a 40-second teaser trailer, whatever. First thing that walks out is Jason. So
because they did a Jason teaser first on his own, and it was just a.
So Jason just walks up to the camera, stops, and then the chick.
And then Tanya comes out of the darkness and stands beside him.
Yeah, and then Tremor comes out, and then you hear the clicking Predator sounds, and the Predator is in front of them, and invisibility cloak turns off, and he's been in front the whole time.
And he looks bad. He looks.
Hands down, the best reveal trailer to date.
Wait, better than...
And that's something that the Mortal Kombat 9 and this game too, it seems like they the sounds, they focus a lot on the sounds, and it sounds just so tangible almost. Like That sound was almost exactly from the movie.
Well, that's. I mean, the more that these games get more detailed, the more detailed these characters, like 3D models are, which is you get like really cool looking versions of these characters in these fighting
I
games.
will say because they are making them on previous systems, the graphics aren't as good as I thought they'd be. Just mostly the facial animations and whatnot. But
Yeah,
oh well.
I mean, yeah.
That was a problem in the last game too, though. Yeah, for cutscenes even.
That's just another realm. That's their own problem. But they're
Well,
not.
it's just a little bit more cartoony because, for the record, if you had a game like Mortal Kombat that was photorealistic, you would like people would have nightmares. People would kill themselves. Like,
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. I'm just meaning like because Arkham Knight's coming out. And those faces look great.
Yeah,
it's very clear and crisp. This is just like that molded clay. That
I think. Well, part of what. Well, actually, no, that's not true because those games have great gameplay as well. But these games have to focus on the fighting aspects. Like the mechanics have to be down pat first.
And obviously, I'm just saying like the previous generation is holding back slightly.
Yeah.
Right.
The next Mortal Kombat will be next gen exclusive, and it'll be more advanced graphics. At least you'd hope so. Anyway. Yeah. Halo 5 has got a release date, October 27th, 2015. I think it's a big deal. It's not most games. Halo games have been out in September. This one's an October game, right around when most Battlefield games are released. Actually, not that we're getting one this year. Battlefront's out, but I don't think they'll probably space it out a little bit more, maybe closer to the movie. Maybe in November.
Oh yeah, and that's gonna be the first game we actually all play together, like online.
Battlefront.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about Halo. I was like, I don't think any of us own an Xbox One. No, Battlefront. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we played Bad Company 2.
Yeah, that's the last. Yeah.
Game Informer did a poll of what everyone's favorite Battlefield games were. Yeah. Bad Company 2, I think, came in second to Battlefield 2, just in pure like fan popularity.
No, that makes sense. I have a few buddies at work who love Bad Company. They just can't get enough of it. And but I told them, and they agreed that because I know from you guys that there's a huge following for Battlefield 2.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the first like foray into the big scope of that game.
Yeah, the online. Yeah.
That was the first. I think the first Battlefield 1942 had 64 players, but the maps weren't as big and all that kind of stuff. Battlefield 2 took it to the next level. I made my parents buy a new like video card so I could play it on the computer.
and that also that's why I'm a little bit disappointed with Hardline. Like I'm not really into it at all.
Yeah.
Because of like games like Payday, who did the heist thing already. GTA is getting heist stuff.
They have it now.
Yeah, they have it now, and because I was hoping for a Bad Company 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's not dead. I mean, it
those out more. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have Battlefield 4, then Bad Company 3, then 5. You know, you need like I think these games for like the dice games like Battlefield, you'd like 2 years to live on the market.
Yeah.
I mean, whereas Call of Duty just needs the one, and then they want something new.
Well, they've done so. Like Battlefield 3 came out 2 years before Battlefield 4 did.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any other games in between.
That game didn't really catch on right away because of how bad it was or whatever.
And Battlefield 4 is only kind of like, it's perfect now, and they have all the DLCs out now, all that stuff. But I mean, it because of the connection issues and stuff that it really like it was a slow burn with that game. And
they said they're not going to annualize it per se.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty. Yeah.
But they did have they really wanted to do the Hardline one, right? So they did.
That's fine though. That one makes sense. I just don't want a 5 all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, and that's Visceral too, right? So that wasn't even DICE doing it. I'm excited to see what's. Sorry.
Yeah, what's next? And even with 4, like I played with you probably like twice. I still want to play more. It just we got to find time to do that.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear on this show how much I'm so much more of a fan of Battlefield than I ever have been of Call of Duty. And like we literally just glossed over the fact that Black Ops 3 is announced. Like Black Ops, we played so much.
But again, when it comes to Call of Duty for me, and I know for friends at work, Black Ops is like the last one they played or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And to get them back would be a Black Ops 3. Like even for myself, like I like the Black Ops series more than the Modern Warfare.
To me, feel like they feel exactly the same in almost every way, and that's why it really bugs me. Like I fell off the train at Black Ops 2 to the point where I never even finished the Modern Warfare trilogy. I just never even played Modern Warfare 3 at all. And,
that's the last one I played. 3.
I mean, I remember I got, what was it, Ghosts? Yeah, Ghosts. I got it for my PS3 because I knew I could trade it up to get a PS. Like, I got it for like $5, right? Because it was the only thing. Best Buy was doing this weird sale where you could bring in any game for the PS3, and you could get like the new Battlefield or all these like new games for $5 or $10 or whatever it was. And I was like, this is the weirdest, craziest deal ever. So I brought in like an old NHL game, and I ended up getting the only game they had for the PS3 was Ghost. So I put it in, and I was like, I literally played 5 minutes of it. I'm like, I don't want to play any more of this. I put it in the box. When I got my PS4, I traded it in for like $30 worth of credit towards Battlefield 4, and I was like, it didn't never look back.
I don't know. I've always kind of been able to enjoy both of them for different reasons. Like, again, we said this before, but Call of Duty as an arcade game, like, it's fun, it's quick, it's easy, and I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different game. There's different mechanics.
No, I know.
Because you're holding a gun.
I don't hold a grudge. I just it maybe there's something to do with like the whole like stigma. Not even stigma is not the right word, but like the community that really embraces Call of Duty is just not the community that I like to be a part of. You know, it's the
I know. That's fair enough.
It's the 9-to-5ers who have they hate their jobs, and the thing they have to look forward to every night is going home and playing Call of Duty. And and that's great, good for you. But I don't. It's not fair to say, but that's like
a fair thing to say. I think the more fair thing to say is it's gamers who aren't gamers, are the guys who buy NBA, NHL, and Call of Duty.
Yeah, and then that's just not the group I want to be a part of.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of
nothing
weird.
wrong with having a 9-to-5 job.
Well, no, I'm not saying there's something wrong with having a 9-to-5 job. I'm just saying that there's that group of people that don't really care about the rest of the stuff. Anything else we've talked about in this entire thing.
Those are the people who buy sports games and Call of Duty. That's what they are.
And that's maybe why it is. But I can't do it anymore. I refuse. I'm never going to buy another Call of Duty game.
And the thing is, like, I kind of know what you're saying about the 9-to-5, like the workers or whatever. Because like people at my work, whenever the new Call of Duty comes out, that's all I talk about, and they all get into it. It's like I almost want to buy the game so I can get in there and play with them. And that's what really matters, though, is that hype and that fun.
But then they're also gone like a couple months later.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I know already that hype dies, right? But every game basically dies, except for certain games that we know and love, like Smash Bros. Or something, right? Yeah.
Very few live on like Smash Brothers. Very few.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of them are... One of them, he was a huge fan of Destiny, and he's done with it, and he stopped playing it. Mm-hmm. Because apparently the raid only took him 30 minutes to play through, because he got so good at it. The first time he played through was 4 hours.
Which, I don't know. I still haven't played a raid on Destiny.
Yeah. That's a whole other discussion of how they're releasing those packs and what they're doing with them. But
when it comes to game marketing, there's a whole like other side. I could do a whole podcast on video game marketing. I literally could sit down and talk about each game and then what they are or not doing right in terms of marketing. And like Call of Duty does a lot right when it comes to marketing, but it doesn't mean I necessarily like the series.
They have budgets for marketing.
That for me is the reason I fell off the series is that there's a new one coming out every year, and if you feel like you have to have the latest version in order to play online, because those servers go offline after a while, or people just stop using it. They don't even have to go offline. So like things like that. That's why I'm only gonna buy I'll buy NHL 15. Then I'm not buying 16. I'm not buying 17.
Well, that's the thing though, because people don't have that mindset with sports games. They want the next one, and they accept that they need to buy the next one.
Yeah. See, that's what I don't like, because like I want to be able to have a game and be able to play it for a while.
That's true, but at least with Call of Duty though, they give you a story mode, right? So that's the difference then.
The bare skeleton of a story mode.
No, they're short, but they're still action packed and fun.
Yeah, it's like the Fast and Furious movies in video game form. Essentially, they're just crazy action set piece scenes.
Yeah, like big action set pieces.
You're always gonna finish that story mode, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's like as the reason I was tempted to pick up Modern Warfare 3 was because I wanted to see how that story ended, but it's too long now. It's not happening. Oh, how does the story end, by the way? You just tell me right now.
I haven't played it either.
Well,
Jeremy, you did,
right? They get their revenge on the guy who killed Soap.
Oh,
with the big handlebar.
Oh yeah, at the end of Modern Warfare 2,
like Soap dies or whatever, or no,
Roach.
Yeah.
Roach.
Whatever. Someone like the guy with the ghost eyes.
Yeah.
Roach eyes, I think.
Yeah.
And the guy with who's like your partner with the crazy mustache beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically the main character, and he gets the final revenge and kills the guy who killed those guys.
Oh. Okay.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, you guys asked me what happened.
No, I know, but I
Yeah, well, I mean, if someone's listening and says, "Oh, he just asked him what happened," I mean, I don't want to hear. I mean, really, the game came out like 5 years ago, so.
Someone wrote that somewhere?
No.
No. So let's talk about the Nintendo Direct, Jeremy. I'm gonna let you kind of handle this one, but I will start off with saying, and this wasn't a part of the Nintendo Direct, but a Tower Babble episode, a Tower Babble podcast isn't complete unless we talk about a game being delayed, and Zelda was delayed till next year. So, what do you got, Jeremy? What were your take on the as the Direct as a whole of Zelda's delay? Give me your thoughts here.
The delay wasn't part of the Direct, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was about a couple days beforehand.
Yeah, it's probably before. Then they kind of like try to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
With the delay, I mean, like, how many delays? Like every major franchise is delayed. Like Arkham, Uncharted, and now Zelda. It makes sense.
The
The
Witcher,
games,
everything.
yeah, the games are just they're getting too ambitious. Like that's what he says, right? That could be an excuse, but it does make sense how they say his reasoning. The game director is that they've discovered new possibilities, and they're gonna go with those possibilities. They want to fulfill all those things. So that makes sense. It's disappointing to me because, like I said, I haven't fully like played through an entire Zelda game, except for a few, and I was really looking forward to this one to be that cool like massive world. You know,
Skyrim of Zelda games.
I guess Skyrim, yeah. So that sucks. We have to wait for that. But again, we all agree delays are good because they want to complete the game.
But this one is also kind of like it's disappointing for the Wii U
that's
because
the other,
they need
that's the other part. Is like, what's their game for this year? And I was like, oh, Star Fox. Like, is that enough? No, it's not enough.
We also don't know. There's no guarantee that that's the game coming out this. Well, I mean, they have said it's coming out this year, so I guess yeah. But we haven't seen anything about it. I mean,
no, no, and that's I guess E3 will tell the tale of that story. If that's the case. So yeah. Apart from that, there's not too much to say. Sure, the Wii U definitely needs that, but I think they understand that the Wii U is not going to sell how they want it to. That's why we had the previous press conference with the kind of throw the NX in there that they're telling everybody we're still in the game market, hold out, like we're still going to have another console down the road. And everyone's saying we're not going to hear about that for a while, and I agree. They just threw it in there just to tell everybody, they're still in it. And then the mobile stuff, obviously, they're going to make a ton of cash with that.
Yeah. So
like $5 a month.
Yeah, I mean, DNA. Yeah, DNA predicts that Nintendo will make over $25 million a month in revenue.
Yeah. So that's the best news ever.
Christ.
So that's awesome.
I mean, we know Nintendo's not going anywhere, right?
What's that?
Nintendo's not going anywhere, and we've had this conversation before.
They're still famously rich off the Wii. Like it's just the amount of cash they have is ridiculous, right? They're just not climbing up, like they should be. Mm-hmm. It's just like flatlined right now, kind of, right? With little blips every now with games like Smash or Mario Kart, but it's not a skyrocket that they want, right?
Yeah, it's not.
And would Zelda be that one? Who knows? There's a lot of Zelda faithfuls out there, but the chances are they already have a Wii U, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
So yeah, apart from that, nothing more we can say about that, right? Like it's just not doing well. We'll see what happens, but I still think the Wii U is going to be here for a few more years. I don't.
Yeah, well, you get this. People have been thinking that maybe the next Zelda is going to pull one of the a Twilight Princess, where it'll be out with the new console and the old console at the same time. I would be surprised if they did that. I don't think that worked out very well for them.
No, I don't think that'll happen this time around. But who knows?
But it'll also, with the delay, looks like it might be at around the same time as the Wii U's end of life.
Mm. And we really haven't heard about anything else. Like we haven't heard about a new standalone Mario game.
When are they going to do a goddamn new Metroid game? Seriously, that
too. Like think about
2D Metroid.
What was Zelda? Was delayed now, and Star Fox, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else. Yeah. We've had a Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Smash, Mario Party just came out, the ToB game, a bunch of little games, whatever, right? But none of those crazy Metroid or F-Zero or something.
Galaxy.
Mario, right? And on a jumping ahead for the new direct, they announced N64 and DS games are on the Wii U Virtual Console, and the very first N64 game that's available is Super Mario 64.
Yeah, but we've had this game re-released like
No, I know.
5,
Not-
6 times now.
That's not my point, Julian. That's not my point.
Well, what's your
Point
point?
is, game they released before was Mario Galaxy 2. So that's back to back. Excuse me, Mario standalone games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but that sounds like they're setting you up for an
another
eventual release or announcement of a standalone Mario Galaxy type title. So that's my prediction for E3.
Yeah, so that's their big announcement is a new Mario, like Galaxy 3 kind of, or
I think that it's definitely been in the works, and something about that's going to be talked about. Not saying it's going to come out this year. I'm just saying I feel like with those games being released, those standalone Mario titles, old ones being released now, it just kind of it's like laying like a breadcrumbs to
well, what if it's all a red? What if it's all a red herring and they're gonna announce
it could be
a new Metroid? I want a new Metroid. If I keep talking about it enough, I feel like
yeah, I agree with you. They need to release a Metroid for sure. And then also in the direct, I guess what else was there? There's like just a bunch of little like cool tidbits that they kept announcing. Like Mario Kart has a new mode with their super fast 200cc, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna make me want to play it again. I mean, I'm gonna boot it up for that.
More DLC, Animal Crossing, like a new Animal Crossing track.
Animal Crossing, well, it's been announced for a long time, but now it's coming out.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So it's another full cup with more tracks and whatnot. So that's awesome. And then the biggest one is I think Lucas from Brawl and Smash is a DLC character.
Yeah.
So it's like an announcement where there's a new DLC character, an announcement where there's going to be DLC characters officially.
Yeah.
Apart from just Mewtwo. So it's like, okay, that's sweet. And again, it was on April 1st. So when I saw the news for Lucas, I'm like, yeah, that's obviously a fake thing. But why would they tease their fans like that? That's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
But then there's a trailer for it, and it has all the gameplay, all the spectacular looking cool gameplay with some cool new moves he has and stuff. So that's awesome. And then they announced that you can go online on their website and vote for any character you want.
Yeah, that's the biggest one, I think.
Yeah. And I went on there and I did 5. I don't know what I did. Like at least 10 times I voted for characters. I listed them on my Twitter page, but I did Tails, Knuckles, Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah. I did GoldenEye Bond, so like in that graphic style.
Oh yeah.
Because apparently a long time ago it was rumored they're going to put Bond in Smash 64 or something like that.
That's kind of a weird one.
That's a weird one, but that's like, again, Smash is known for its weirdness, right? Like I think that's when it shines the most, like with Animal
Snake
Crossing character, Snake or even Wii Fit trailer, things like that.
And watch
things make it special. So yeah, you guys should go online and vote for characters. Put a cool reason. Maybe they'll listen to yours, or they'll tally up votes, see who people want. I think Tails would be sweet. Get another Sonic character in there.
Tails, that's been talked about since GameCube, right?
I feel like Tails is a gimme. I mean, there should be Tails already. Like,
it's cool because like there's these 4 or 3 blurbs you gotta write, like the name of the character, the name of the game he's in, and why he should be in it. Someone wrote Tails, and they wrote Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or something like that, and then it said because
about damn time.
No, it said because he's in Sonic and he has 2 tails or something. He has 2 tails.
Well, to me, I think he makes the most sense. He makes the most sense compared to someone like Knuckles. I think is too similar to Sonic, so you go with someone like.
They have a different moveset, sort of, but yeah, Tails has the Tails with.
Even all 3 of them.
Sounds
the
redundant.
movesets could all be different. Like,
I mean, Knuckles is going to be all punches, and then the glide is.
Yeah, the glide dash attacks and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
I mean, they can get creative with it too.
And the thing is that I want Tails. I think if I had to choose one, I'd choose Tails, just because I want Sonic and Tails in there.
Yeah.
The thing that pains me, and I think it won't happen, is because the Sonic brand is kind of gone.
It's pretty much fallen through the floor. It's almost worthless. I'd say Sonic the Hedgehog's brand is, it's worth as much as Pac-Man's brand, and I think neither.
It's just because the games that they make are crap and they don't sell, because they're crap.
Yeah,
that's why. But the characters are still cool. Sonic's a cool character, and so is Tails. And having them together in Smash
make House of live on. Cool. Yeah, I think if you're gonna keep them anywhere, I think if you ask me, the best Sonic game that's been put out in the last 5 years has been Super Smash Brothers, because there's no other really anything else you can look at, and they
Well, there's
do the
some
characters
Generations
justice.
Colors. Generations was pretty cool. Colors is whatever, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the best takeaway from
Yeah.
the direct. I think is the
Yeah, I mean, Luke is joining.
possibility of
Mewtwo will.
character.
Mewtwo is going to cost $3.99 or $4.99 on if you buy it for both systems at the same time, 3DS and Wii U. And
So lo and behold, they made it seem like you had to buy both games to get it for free, and
Yeah.
like maybe you'd be able to buy it, but you can. So you can buy Mewtwo if you want for $4
Yeah.
or whatever.
of
Same
course.
Yeah, that was
They also announced that you'd be able to buy costumes for your Wii fighter or if you're a Mii fighter, which I thought was
Yeah.
like a weird thing. I think there should be like costumes should be a bit like different outfits for all the characters should be something you can all buy for 99 cents, whatever, right? That should be something they could do. A Zero Suit Samus, or not Zero, like a Metroid Fusion suit, like that actually looks like the Fusion suit.
Yeah,
not just the
they
colors.
definitely missed the ball on that. Nobody cares about the costumes for your Mii fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but the door's still open for that, right? So we'll see.
And we've seen already in the Project M, where the creators of that mod have made tons of different cool costumes
Yeah.
for the main characters.
And that's really that Project M is so great because they just do the stuff that people have been asking for so long, and Nintendo refuses to do. It's like the version of Smash that everyone wishes they had, like if Nintendo officially put out, there's one more quote I'll leave with you guys about from Nintendo. So Iwata talking to Kotaku, if you only expand upon existing hardware, it's dull, he says, translated from Japanese. Quote, in some shape or form, we're always thinking about how we want to surprise players, as well as our desire to change person's video gaming life. Talking about the NX. So I think that pretty much confirms that it's not going to be just the next, Nintendo PlayStation console, So it's going to be another...
the video when the Wii nunchuck and remote came out of like the white goo.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like
the worst.
Well, is that when they announced that's when they announced the name too, right?
Yeah, it was like, well, it's Codename Revolution, and then they just talked about, they just showed the box.
Yeah.
And or whatever.
Yep.
And then or maybe the games or something. And then the conference they showed the controllers come up. And it was the Wii remote with the nunchuck, and they came out of that white goo.
Yeah, and then they had the Wii thing with like the letters going back and forth, like wobbling. Wii, and everyone was like, "What the shit?"
Well, it definitely worked. It definitely like sold a lot. Like it made people think. Like,
I don't know if the name was. Yeah, it's such a stupid name. It still bugs me.
Came out and it was like the tablet, and they showed us all these cool things that they're doing, where they're flicking ninja stars through it to the TV, and like or put it on the ground and the golf ball's down there and you swing your Wii remote and stuff and like things like that sounded cool, but none of that has been implemented.
Also,
well, you can do the Ninja Star thing, but
also gimmicky. Like, why do you need to see your golf ball on the ground in a video game version of golf?
But then the second screen, where like I said before we recorded, is that I can play Super Mario 64 in my bed on my gamepad or Super Metroid. The second screen stuff, which is why the DS is so successful, is cool.
But I mean, the Vita does that stuff too, but it's not doing well. So it's like that doesn't necessarily sell it either, which is why it's definitely struggling. And I don't want to get into that conversation.
That's why you need games to implement that system, and it looks like Star Fox is going to finally use both screens, properly or cool for the first time.
Hopefully.
So let's move on from video game stuff to some TV stuff. Daredevil's red suit. So Daredevil premieres tonight at midnight, according to you guys, taking your word for it. Being April 10th. So that's awesome. I'm really excited to watch that. But the red suit is revealed. That's the most important thing we've seen. Motion poster. He's like in his. He's standing there in his suit, and then the suit turns into his black suit, and then that black suit turns into the red suit. What did you guys think of the look of it?
It looks pretty sweet. It's kind of what we expect from superhero costumes at this point, right?
Yeah. I
They-
honestly thought it'd be the leather though. Like I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna do it in a different way.
No, like every superhero has these sort of like segmented costumes where it's like there's a strap here and a fabric here, and it all works together to make it look tactical and I don't know, like more detailed than just a flat leather suit.
And I like how they're mixing the black and red together.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say the image that leaked, it was Netflix's fault because it was the header image on the actual app. And I remember seeing that image and it was small, and I thought it looked terrible because he was like looking down and it looked like he had glasses on or something. But then when he moves, you can tell all these like pieces, like you said, are segmented that mold and form together very nicely.
Yeah. And like you said before we were recording, the eyes are pretty cool. They have a cool sheen on the eyes.
Yeah. Well, so did Ben Affleck though. To be fair, it was like a glass.
Oh, I don't really remember that. It's just one of those like in comic books, superheroes like they're wearing their mask and the eyes are always white. Their eyes are always still like they're still focal points. So they're still they can emote through the eye. So they can't do that with a TV show. But
well, it's the same thing to do with Batman, right? The emissive eyes, where you don't actually have a pupil, but the shape of the eye changing allows you to in comic books anyway, convey emotion in different ways.
Yeah. It'd be cool if they CGI Ben Affleck's eyes too.
They use Ben Affleck's eyes for his eyes.
Well, like remember the Dark Knight? Was it? The Dark Knight when Bale had the over his eyeballs, and they were white or blue, or whatever.
The computer thing over his eyeballs.
Pretty cool.
And yeah, that's what the Batman versus Superman like footage from Comic-Con had eyes were like lit up in like that armor suit thing, and it looks like the comic book, which is I don't know how they're gonna do that, but we already know that that's obviously not what they're doing for like just the regular Ben Affleck. It's still just like black eye makeup underneath. I love how like people when they talk about that, like the Christian Bale Batman, they're like, so he just has this eye makeup on, so if he takes his helmet off, he looks like a raccoon.
Well, all the Batman had the black makeup on.
Yeah. Because like, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, but anyways, Daredevil looks sweet. I just want to see it in action. Him.
Yeah,
fighting.
well, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sold by that suit. By the way, I think it looks okay. I think the face, like the cowl of it, looks a little silly. The nose area, especially.
I don't know why you think that.
I don't know. I just get a weird. I think it looks a little funny.
Like it doesn't like go above his nose. It's like the perfect tip of his nose. Like I don't understand. But whatever.
I think in motion, like when you see him moving around in an action scene, I think it'll be pretty cool. But it's hard to say. I'm not sold on just on the image. I'll just put it that way. Marvel.
I think I was sold on Daredevil for Netflix.
Dale's sold from the first four letters. Marvel and Dare, and he's like done, sold.
We're just accepting it already. And
he is Daredevil now.
But there's obviously a reason why they chose him, right? Yeah. So I'm excited to see that.
Yep. Marvel and ABC are working on a spin-off show for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it will be based on story developments from the remaining episodes of Season 2. So not a bottle episode, backdoor pilot kind of thing that they sometimes do, like they did with The Flash on Arrow, but it's going to be its own thing, but just based on what happens at the end of this series. I want there to be a crossover. There is kind of one crossover between Daredevil and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I want Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to cross over more with the Netflix stuff because they're all TV, so they should be able to interact more. The one crossover is what's his name? He has the ability to like adopt any like material. The Absorbing Man, is that his right? I think that's what it's called. Crusher Creel. So he's the boxer in the Daredevil one. So before he becomes the Absorbing Man, you see him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there's that one connection. I think that's kind of cool. True Detective Season 2 teaser that came out today. I just watched it. I thought it was really cool. It still has very much the True Detective feel. I was wondering if they're going to go a different way as far as tone, but the tone is like still very much keeping with what they did with the first season of it. What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, I mean, obviously not much. You don't really get anything from the trailer other than a bunch of images of them looking sad and depressed. But that's kind of what you expect from the series. or not even depressed, but like kind of like all their shit is on the line, and they're just trying to
Brooding.
figure it out.
They're
And
all
there's
brooding.
no spirit at all, which is cool.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of emotional like character interaction.
And
Yep.
when you separate yourself from it, like from a distance, all it is these famous actors just in
Yeah.
a hype train show, just trying to capitalize on that. But to me, it didn't feel like that because I could feel the emotion within, like in these little scenes.
Yeah.
And I could tell, like, okay, this mystery, this conspiracy is going to be.
And I would say
cool.
especially with Colin Farrell.
Yeah, he
from
looked
the
great.
trailer, it was like he looked.
And then second,
intense.
I'd say to Vince Vaughn, he looks great too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Colin Farrell's got the sweet mustache. That's
Yeah.
the big takeaway
And
there.
he's a smoker too.
Well, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
like smokes every second scene.
It makes it so much more dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like saying, like, they're all just brooding. Like, they could all be playing Batman. They're just trying to adopt the Batman look and feel.
I'm just so curious to what this plot of this is. Like, you see Vince Vaughn there, and he's like standing next to this like development thing or whatever,
Yeah.
that, like new developments or something. Like, what does that mean? Like, and we just know that like all these things, everything has a meaning because we know what happened in the first season, right? Like, you got to pay attention to everything.
The
You gotta
minute
piece
detail,
together things
minutia.
yourself and come up with theories. And this even has more main characters. Like, I guess we have 4 main ones that basically feels like.
Yeah, that's what it
Rachel
looks like.
McAdams, John Mars, whatever that guy's name is.
Oh yeah.
John
You can
Marston.
call him Farrell.
I don't.
And that's cool. Late June, so that's pretty close, I
Yeah,
guess.
June
couple months.
21st. It feels like it was like I felt like True Detective was gonna be like a ways away, but this
Yeah,
year is
dude.
we're gonna have House of Cards season 3, which wasn't the best, right?
But it's included. So.
Right, and then we're gonna have Game of Thrones, which starts Sunday, and we're gonna
Boom.
right
Daredevil.
Arrow or the Flash, which is like
Yeah.
awesome right now, and now True Detective, like so many good things on television. Oh, and Daredevil, like you said, like TV is just at the and we've talked about it, just so good right now, so
And then
so
even
good.
movies, like this year for movies is
I know.
pretty crazy. Star Wars and events.
Yeah. Remember when we talked about 2015? Like it was like 2 years ago. We talked like looked at the slate of movies coming out, and we're like, wow, like when this year comes, it's gonna be like the best year ever. And it's like starting with a bang, with like not, and we didn't even know about like the rest of the stuff like Daredevil and all that stuff that would be happening at the same time. It's such a good time to be a fucking nerd right now, I'll tell you. What else we have? Executive producer of Arrested Development, Brian Grazer, confirms they're working on another 17 episodes for Netflix. So I'm a big fan of Arrested Development. The last season on Netflix wasn't its best. I think
it was done differently. Everything was shot differently in the last season. It didn't really work the same way, you know.
So if they can do it like the show was originally done, I think you'll be able to recapture that feel. And I just saw like my roommate had right before I was leaving the other day to go to work. My roommate had put on Horrible Bosses 2 on the TV, and I was watching and I saw Jason Bateman on there, and like obviously of Arrested Development and of other stuff too. But just the first like little bit of that movie, I was cracking up. I'm like, man, Jason Bateman particularly, but Charlie Day too.
Yeah, he's so good.
Are
He
so
plays that
funny.
perfectly.
Yeah,
Jason Bateman is that. He's like the smart friend about the.
Like
two
he's
dumb
always like the
friends.
down to earth guy that's always
Yeah.
like, what?
He's
Why?
like,
Like,
Yeah,
But
Jason
he's-
Bateman's just perfect. For it.
yeah, and well, the thing is with him is he plays that, but he's also still an idiot, which is why it's so great. Because like,
and the show like, it doesn't focus on that. It just shows it once in a while. It reminds you like he's one of them. He just acts like he's not.
Yeah, that's the beauty of how he does things.
yeah. So I mean, I'm excited for that. It's obviously still super early on for that stuff, but we'll move on from there. George R. R. Martin is developing another series on HBO. What do you say? Would you say it's dead?
It's dead. Yeah.
That's not a funny joke. We already talked about how he's clearly on his deathbed. We shouldn't joke about that. God, it's sensitive. Oh man. Anyway, that hilarious joke. Moving on. Is developing another series on HBO, and it has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. And it takes place in 1949, and it centers around a science fiction writer. So he's he's writing about his own life essentially. and it's called Captain Cosmos. So we'll see how that goes. I thought I was excited when I read the headline that George R. R. Martin was working on a series called Captain Cosmos for HBO. I thought it was going to be him working on like a sci-fi show, but that's not what it is, so I'm not as excited about it. But Game of Thrones news. George R. R. Martin has posted a chapter from the next book. Dan, I assumed you were following that.
Yeah, I know. I heard about it. I haven't read it. I don't normally go and read the chapters ahead of time like that. I like to read them in order.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
At any end, and I'm not as a non-book reader. Jeremy, are you dying over there? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I don't think he's okay.
It's
Like, I don't think he's okay. There's so much blood. And also, he's announced that he's not writing an episode for season 6 of the show. So he'll have more time to write the book.
Like we talked about that already. Either way, yeah, he's not going to Comic-Con, and he's not writing an episode for this season because he's going to focus on writing the 6th book.
Yeah, well, that's everything that makes you
Whole
happy.
time, right? Like,
yeah. He clearly, here's the thing. He says he didn't, but he clearly took a lot of time away from the book by doing the show and by doing all that other stuff. It's like by coming out now and saying I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do this because I need to concentrate on the book, just proves that you weren't concentrating on the book before because you were concentrating on other stuff. You know?
well, no. The thing is, he never was. He always wrote at his own pace. The thing is, because the show was so popular, now there's a timeline on the books. Whereas before it was like that's his baby. That's his work of art, right? So he released a little press release recently that was detailing sort of all the things that he's working on, and it does sound like a lot. You know, he's producing on like 3 different TV shows and a movie. He writes for a game as well, like all this weird stuff, and he also does a lot of editing. So you can see why his plate is full. But like, I guess now like there's a lot of pressure for him to finish the books, so he's prioritizing.
Yeah, and the pressure's obviously increased because
so he's there. He just didn't care before.
Yeah, and obviously the pressure's increased because the exposure to those books is increased because of the show, which is fine because it gives him a little kick in the ass. We just talked about House of Cards, but House of Cards is renewed for season 4, so that's been announced officially. Daredevil producer Steven DeKnight wants to do a hard R Punisher series on like a similar platform to Netflix. That'd be pretty sweet, hey? That's the right place to do it and the right way to do it, I think, right? Steven DeKnight had a great quote, I think. I don't know where he said it or if he stole it from someone else, where he said that Daredevil is one bad day away from being the Punisher, which I thought is a pretty cool way to describe the character.
I mean, it would have to be a pretty bad day, but yeah, pretty much. I can see they're both very great, like street level.
Yeah.
Criminals deserve to be punished kind of guys.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see the show tonight. Can't wait to watch an episode of it. Exciting to see them deal with like actual criminals again, and not like gods and aliens and other
Yeah, it goes back and forth. It's the same when you read comic books too. Like sometimes it's a bit too much of this crazy intergalactic war, and you just want a down-to-earth story where Batman beats the shit out of the Riddler.
Yeah, exactly.
To face the Riddler.
Yeah, like it's refreshing because of as much as that stuff is a lot of fun, right? I still love seeing that other stuff.
Well, I mean, and the reciprocal is true too, because sometimes you get bored of Batman, on the ground. Like you need to see Batman with Superman sometimes as well.
Yeah. Exactly true. And Daredevil is the red Batman. So, Netflix is what?
I don't know.
You don't like that? You still don't like that quote, hey?
I feel like they're fairly different.
They're very similar.
He's the red looking Batman.
Yes, he looks like Batman in a similar acts in a similar way and works in the same street level area as Batman. So there's nothing like him. Netflix is in talks to bring back Full House. They're going to call it Fuller House, and it'll be for its 9th season. I never really watched Full House, so I can't really. I just thought that's just funny to say.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Hawk Girl, as played by Kiara Renee, who's a or Ciara. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Ciara.
She's a stage actress, so we haven't really heard of her before. She's going to be playing Hawk Girl on the Flash Arrow spinoff. So more casting keeps coming in for that.
That's crazy.
I'm really excited to see what the trailer is going to be like, or like the for that, or like the name even.
All this casting news, can we just just call it the Just League show instead of calling it the Flash Arrow spinoff?
Yeah, there surely should be a name for it by now. It can't be much longer, right? Like they're shooting it right away.
Or like if you have to avoid that, just call it the League or some bullshit like that. But
don't call it the League. Don't.
Well,
just,
yeah, that was.
And also it's taken, and also it's like you can't just call it Arrow and then be like, okay, we'll just drop green from it. It's like, oh, we'll just drop Justice from League, and then it makes it cool and gritty. Like, no.
Hey, man, this is the CW. This is what they do.
Well, no, they called the Flash, but you can't. You can't.
Yeah, what are they gonna drop from the Flash?
No, they didn't drop. Well, they could have just called it Flash. They called it the Flash, right? So they kept the. But I think that one's the most like true to the comics than all the other stuff is anyway. So, are we all caught up on Flash and stuff? Like,
I haven't seen this week's episode.
There is no episode this week. It really
that makes sense. That's why. So the Tricksters is the last episode. Then?
Yeah. Loved seeing. I really liked seeing Hamill as the Trickster.
It was cool. It was pretty cheesy, but whatever.
I know, but
the
like,
big deal was Wells not actually being the Reverse Flash, and I told Dan earlier that the only reason to do that is so that Wells can
come back as a good guy.
Officially come back as the normal nice guy he is, and get a second chance.
Yeah, and then it'll all be his like redemption story.
So you like that's probably the season finale.
Yeah, that's my prediction. And my second prediction is that the Reverse Flash is going to take over Eddie at some point. Because why have that guy?
Maybe
why have that guy related to? The
I feel like that
Flash?
one may have been just like a nod, the Eddie Thon, whatever.
I know,
but we'll see what happens.
I'm just because that'd be cool to have that rivalry enhanced with those two actors, right?
It's also kind of like, but they showed the dude that was playing Eobard, right? Like why do we want that guy in the show now where you don't know his face?
Yeah,
I guess
so
he
weird.
Did he have any lines?
No, yeah, a couple. He said like literally like 3 sentences before he killed the guy.
That's why I feel like the Reverse Flash will embody Eddie at some point.
Maybe
that's my prediction.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna give that guy his own shot at the character.
Could be, yeah.
Well, I mean, they keep talking about how. Or people keep talking about like how do you go from Reverse Flash as your villain in season 1, right? And assuming they're obviously not going to kill off Reverse Flash, you'll be back at some point. But like, where do you go from there? Because like, that is the Flash's like most arch nemesis. Right? You can say Captain Cold is or whatever, but you can only do so many Captain Cold stories.
He's
right?
literally the Reverse Flash. Like he's the antithesis to the Flash.
Yeah. I mean, like they've already
they did Gorilla Grodd, like they've kind of teased Gorilla Grodd, but like it's not quite the same level, you know?
Right, and exactly, you can start doing the team ups, like the rogue team ups, right? And they've teased that, but I mean, again, you need a like Reverse Flash, like Professor Zoom level villain in the show. Otherwise, I don't know. Before you start getting into the places where it's like so crazy and over the top, where you're dealing with like space and like other stuff with the Flash, where he can do that kind of stuff, but like. Once you introduce time travel, like what is there for you to not like? Where can you go from there?
He'll be the overarching villain for the entire series. Like that's just how it's going.
Well, anyway, I just keep talking about it. The show is on a real roll right now. Anyway, it's cool that they'll have Hawkgirl in there. I think they'll touch on the whole like destiny and like different generations and stuff. And I'll just mention this one really quick. Trevor Noah, he's a South African comedian. He'll be replacing Jon Stewart on The Daily Show when he's done.
Yeah. There was a huge backlash on Twitter.
Well, it's weird to have a non-American actor do American or do to kind of take down American politics.
Have you been watching the show at all?
Lately, yeah, actually. I've been clips. I've been seeing like long 6-7 minute clips.
He's been a correspondent like only very recently. Like he came onto the show and he's already taken over. But he has a cool he's obviously he's not a Westerner, but he's also not like a European or like UK or whatever. So he has a very distinct perspective, which is cool. But there's a bunch of stuff on Twitter about like some tweets that he did, however long, like 4 or 5 years ago.
They're like racist, but
not quite racist. They were just bad jokes, is what they were. Like, and you have to understand, he's a comedian, and he made bad jokes early in his career. Just let it go. People are like, people wanted him out based on some tweet he sent in 2011.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just that's how internet reacts, right? Like if it's change, so they don't like it. It's really what it is.
It's just so fucked up that we live in this world where like if somebody gets a position like this, which is obviously it's not even like it's not like a political office or anything like that, and the first thing people are doing is siphoning through their tweets from 5 years ago.
But you got to understand when you're in the public eye, that kind of stuff does happen. And it happened before the internet too.
Always happens.
Yeah.
People are jealous, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll just mention a couple things that the comic book related. Star Trek Green Lantern crossover comic book is coming, which is kind of funny. Both Spider-Mans will coexist in the new post Secret Wars Marvel Universe. Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Batman 66 is getting an animated movie. This is my favorite one. Is getting an animated movie that will star Adam West and Burt Ward, reprising their roles. That is pretty awesome. Convergence, if you're following DC Comics, their big event kicked off this week, and Secret Wars is coming soon, but it's going to cause 33 books to be canceled following their event. So, I'll finish off with like what we've been watching, what we've been playing. I have still kind of grinding my way through Far Cry 4, but I did pick up a new TV show, and I watched, I think most of the episodes. I don't know if I missed any. Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty funny, and if you really like awkward humor, they do a lot of that awkward, like put yourself in that position, feel awkward about it. They do that really well, and listen. I hate that kind of comedy generally, and it makes me feel super awkward. So they're doing that really well. It's when they do the other kind of comedy that I really like, and I really like the premise, the whole idea of what would you do if there was no one else and it was just you. Obviously, things change and it becomes other stuff happens, but it would be pretty boring if it was just the same things over and over again. But it is really funny. So definitely check that out. And then obviously we watched Furious 7. We talked about that already. What about you guys?
I've just been still, like you said, grinding through Bloodborne. I'm loving the game. I've actually made progress this time. Like honestly, like when I first started the game, there was no progress. It's you get very frustrated at certain points, but then once you have to become an expert at every area and then move on. You know what I mean?
I've never played any of the Souls-like games before.
Yeah.
I've never played it. Like, did you ever play Dark Souls, Demon Souls?
I played Dark Souls. Which one came first? Demon Souls came first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then there's two. I played Demon Souls.
Okay, and this is like that, right? This is like similar to that.
It's similar to that. I don't know. That one I didn't give enough of a shot. Whereas this one, I think it might have to do with the graphics and stuff like that. Like I just got more into it. With Demon Souls, I was playing through it, and then I just like got to a point where like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know why I'm doing it, and I don't know why I want to be doing it. So I just stopped playing. I've kind of reached that point a couple times in Bloodborne, but then I don't know. I found a reason to keep going.
Power through.
Yeah.
You found a reason to live, Daniel. That's all that matters.
That's also another good point. Bloodborne's faster. Demon Souls is all about kind of like blocking and then hitting and then blocking, and it's just cumbersome. Whereas Bloodborne it's all about quick. You don't really have shield. You can get shields, but they kind of suck. So it's all about like hitting and dodging and timing your attacks perfectly. So like there's certain moves you can pull off that will stun an enemy, and then you get a really powerful attack after the stun, and it works on bosses as well. But like the timing's different for every type of enemy, so you have to kind of play around with it. So it's a lot of dodging, a lot of like oh shit, heal, and then get it back in there. It's like an old school. It's like an actual video game. You just you have to become really good at it.
Well, I guess if it has those like old school mentality, that's something that you always kind of like. Well,
that's the thing. Like, so if you die, no matter what, you lose all the progress you made between whatever checkpoint, and the checkpoints are very sparse. So you can save the game by like just exiting, like you just go to the system menu and exit. So it saves exactly where you are with all your souls, which are the currency, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I don't know what it's
something similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. But then when you start the game, you're back in that same spot, which is great. But then if you die, you would still go back to the checkpoint, not to your save point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like, I don't know. It's punishing, but it's rewarding too. once you get through.
All right. Well, I don't think it's. I don't think I'm ever gonna get around to playing it. Unfortunately, I just still want to play Order 1886. So that's I think next up on my list, and then The Witcher. That if I can get that done before The Witcher.
Mortal Kombat comes out Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play that. I promise you, I'm not gonna be playing
I have
that.
no idea. I'm almost more excited for that than our Cuba trip.
Man, that's sad for you. It's like I don't know. Fighting games, I talked about this before. The Smash is the only fighting game I've ever liked, and only because it's so different than all the others. And I don't like memorizing combos. I don't like it at all. I find them really cumbersome. I want to be able to just like do cool moves, but I don't want to have to remember like square, triangle, half circle.
Like, free flowing.
Yeah, Smash is cool because like cool stuff can still happen, and it happens sometimes by accident, and sometimes when it works out exactly how you want it to, it's even better, right? Mortal Kombat, it's a lot more of me like I know what I want to do, but it's different because like you have to kind of the timing's whatever. In both games, there's a lot of timing, but in Mortal Kombat, it's more like you're playing your opponent. You know, it's like a chess game at the same time. But I'm more excited for this game for the story. The story is huge in this one, and they're doing a lot with it. I don't know a lot
weird
about
because like most people like talk about the story of Mortal Kombat being like just like throw it away and just go play against your friends.
That was in the old Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Yeah, the story is a bit ridiculous and in Deception, whatever. Mortal Kombat 9 had a decent story, and this one looks, from everything I've seen, it looks intense. It looks very cinematic. There's a couple little quick QTEs, but not too many. And then fights in between it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, the
story.
story.
People embrace their cheesiness or whatever they are.
Well, that's the other thing that they're recording everything. Like everything that happened is still a part of the universe. So I've been reading the comics as well, and there are characters from the other games that won't be in this game that are still in the comics, and then they're killed off or they're referenced in some way. So I appreciate that there's nothing in these games that is gonna be like, yeah, you know what, that was dumb. We're gonna pretend that never happened. It's all moving forward with the games, and it's just all moving forward in a better way.
All right, Jeremy, anything you want to add? To anything you're playing? Anything you're doing different?
Anything?
Nothing.
Nope.
All right. Well, I want to play Axiom Verge. That was just released with PS4.
Oh yeah, I want to buy that.
That's like next on my list, I think. So, we can wrap it up there. Again, I'm Julian Mush. Daniel D'Souza, Jeremy Kozier. Go check out our Twitter page at Tower Babblecast. That's where you'll find all the info about our live shows. We'll be starting the Game of Thrones stuff right away, so that's really exciting. And so yeah, like that's definitely where you want to check that out. And then go to our website www.towerbabblepodcast.com where you'll find all of our extra bonus content and all that kind of stuff that we like to do. So. We will be back in 2 weeks. Also, yeah, facebook.com/TowerBabblecast and youtube.com/TowerBabblecast. Those are both important. But most importantly is to rate and subscribe on iTunes. That's the one that we care about most. We would really appreciate it. But really all we care about is if you like the show. So let us know whatever way you want to do it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to go watch a Jets game, and we'll talk to you then.
See you.
0-0.
Oh.
0-0.
The score?
Yeah.
Perfect. I haven't missed anything.
Going into the third.
Well, what's the score in the Flames game? Because if the Flames win, regardless if the Jets lose tonight, the Jets clinch.
The Flames are winning 2-0 against LA.
There we go. Okay, now we're talking. I don't have time off work on Saturday to watch the game, so I don't want the game on Saturday to actually mean anything. So because I don't want to miss it. So I just hope they finally clinch tonight. I would kill to go to a Jets playoff game. That would be so much fun.
You wouldn't kill somebody to
go.
Okay,
it's a figure of speech, Jeremy. Okay, you don't have to get. You know that. Hold on, I gotta pee.
I guess the Furious combo can be taken out probably.
That was probably the longest one, yeah.
I had a lot to say.
Yeah, you did.
I just want to get it all off the chest. But it's mostly because people keep making fun of the fact that like he's just a person or whatever. But I was trying to maintain the fact that it's not about him
Yeah,
as a person. Like
it's easy
about,
to be cynical. Like
it's about
that.
the idea of that on-screen duo. Like everyone likes duos, right? Like, and that duo was rising up to something huge, and now it's kind of a piece is gone, right? So that's what I was trying to say, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know what to like in it too, like Troy and Abed or something, right? Like that's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that sucks, right?
And I mean, the show lost a piece of that, but
Yeah.
it just you have to.
He's not actually dead, but like
Yeah.
it's similar into what that duo and that friendship is, you know?
Yeah, that dynamic won't ever be replaced.
Mm.
Half the stockpile.
Okay. Hopefully it goes away for a trip.
The ocean breeze will cure you right up.
It's true. I don't really. My cough is not half as bad as it was back home, down here. But I still have it.
You did that on purpose. There's no way that was that.
I can actually make it happen anytime I want.
Shut up, Julian.
I can make it happen anytime I want.
Just talking about his cough, and then he's like,
No, I said my cough isn't as bad down here, but I still have it, which is why I did it.
and it was like, I still have it. Pause.
And then yeah, I can make my cough happen whenever I want.
That's weird.
Well, it's kind of like a permanent problem, chronic.
I did buy the Fire Emblem game for the 3DS though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
haven't played it yet. When I popped in for like a few minutes, it's like I don't think I'll be able to get into it. It's super slow. Like it's because it's like you get the map or whatever, and like everything's a square, and you just like pick your way to get to the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the strategy for that. And then when you get to the enemy, it goes into a 3D animation where it's like Final Fantasy, I guess. It's like a really slow burn for me though. I don't know. It's weird.
they're like tactical, art like RPGs or whatever, right? They're like turn based.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I like it. I wish it was just like an RPG or something.
Is it like the Advance Wars games kind of?
Never played those.
Where you get like a map and you have like your different pieces and you have to like move them around.
Yeah, that makes sense. You get like vehicles and you can position them around an enemy. This one, it's like one enemy's there, and you're two people, and you just move your person through these squares to get close to that person.
Huh.
Then you do one attack, and then it's over. You're back to the map. Move your second person. Oh, nice.
What?
I believe we just this. I just saw this on Twitter, Joey.
Green hair.
No, I'm looking at this right now. Yeah. All right, let's see. What do they have? What does it look like?
You guys said he's not like beefed up.
No, he just started to roll.
Green
It looks
hair.
pretty good. And you have to see the Dark Knight Returns influence there.
Yeah, he's got like lip makeup on too. It's weird. I wish he wasn't like taking a selfie. Essentially,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, I guess it kind of goes with the look. Is he wearing a vest? Looks like he's wearing a vest.
So, yeah, maybe. It's very, very much Killing Joke.
I wonder why he wasn't in the Suicide Squad. Reed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. You think he's like only a small part of the movie?
Can you believe that Will Smith is part of the DC?
Yeah, that's great. He's like big star power for that.
Like he's definitely like winding down. I
Guys, when's the last time he made it? When the last time Will Smith was like huge, right? It's been years. Like Hitch was like the last time.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's not what we like. Will Smith
I'm
for.
saying that's like at the height of his powers. That was like
I Am Legend was like my last.
I Am Legend, probably.
well, okay. Which one? Wait. Did Hitch come out after those things?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So like that's sort of thinking like he was at the height of his like popularity and like influence, and now he.
I wouldn't say that was the height of it. Like
I
Fresh
think it
Prince,
was, man.
sweet.
Yeah,
everybody loved Fresh Prince.
Yeah, but he was only
Independence Day.
he was but that was still small time. That was TV. Like he was a huge movie star after that, right? And I guess like it kind of fell off a little bit.
Independence Day is really what did it for. And then Men in Black is probably the height of his.
Yeah, he did 3 recently. So
Men in Black is definitely like the height for him.
Yeah, man, Men in Black 3 is pretty fucking funny, and I kind of like it a lot because of
don't ever say I kind of like it a lot.
like what's his name? Who's the Josh Brolin? He's really good in that movie. I remember Daniel's like upset that one time when I talked about it, about how I like Josh Brolin, and he's like,
what?
Daniel's upset about me liking Josh Brolin in Men in Black. That was a reason.
Really?
Why
are you upset about that?
Why was I upset about that?
I don't know. You thought that it's not even worth talking about. The movie Men in Black 3 wasn't even worth talking about.
Well, no, it's not a great movie, but...
Alright, whatever.
Don't do you just play.
You can play online. I gotta go soon, though, but...
But there's always time for some Smash Bros.
Gotta get a match in.
Where do you have to go?
I think... Well, no, you go with friends, probably.
No.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You're right.
Cassie's out drinking. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I gotta go pick her up.
The game's not even over.
What game?
The hockey game.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go meet with them.
That's not the same as picking her up.
Well, cool.
Alright, well, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to turn off this thing here. Talk to the live people.
I've been playing a lot of this. Well, whatever. It's fine.
As Mario.
Captain Falcon's actually become a big one for me.
Because he's cheap.
It's not cheap.
The side B is the cheapest move in this game.
Side B?
Side B, yeah.
Captain...
I die from that all the time.
Of who?
It is, he's much more powerful than the other game with that shit.
Captain Falcon?
It's the fucking kick that annoys me. People do that all the time.
You do too. Like, if you're getting hit,